Hello everyone and welcome back. A bit of a break, but we're straight back into the quarterfinals, and you might notice my voice has changed, but no, I am still Danny Kim and I'm joined by Manic this time around. So I've had a bit of a break.
It's magic. It's magic. You're going 4 best of 3s today. That's incredible.
Well, you know how it is. The life of Danny Kim, it's never easy. And well, for the life of NASR coming into the B-bomb site, not easy as well. They've already lost one on the pistol and the rest of them they're still committing.
Yeah, they're going to be able to get the bomb down. Well, oh, Havoc. That's a really nice shot. Now, for those of you who might not know, Havoc, he's an absolute beast with pistols. Don't give him the time of day. You'll be in trouble. They're already being pushed by Texter, who finds both players. Only one remain, being Breaker. He's got quite the tall order. He finds the first, but there is way too many players to deal with. Way too many angles. NASR will inevitably seal the deal, and the first pistol round goes towards the Chiefs. Now, very quickly, I do believe, not entirely sure, we will just double check this, but I believe that Train is the veto for NASR. Let's just double check that. Yes, so NASR has picked Train. So starting off, of course, Chiefs will get to choose their side. They go to CT, and it being a predominantly CT side, we could probably expect the Chiefs to start off on a hot run. To say
I mean, here's the thing, right? NASR, they're a really, really great team. Havoc is going to be doing his best to make sure that at least the Indian side still has some representation. Obviously, yesterday, it's very easy to say, well, there was a Forsaken thing that happened. Now Havoc, he needs to be breaking some heads in here with NASR, and they've been floating around the scene for quite a while. Definitely still take it, but picking Train against Chiefs, it's... I mean, obviously, coming in from the Australian side, we do know a little bit more about Chiefs compared to NASR comparatively, and Chiefs has always been that team that can definitely play Train pretty handily, and you still got that core 2 players that exactly knew what setups they would have, which is Texter and Flix. Flix is still staying his role over in the B site as Iron. Okay.
Wow.
That's an anti-eco, who cares?
I'm counting that. Iron, that's filthy. It's a nice way to start. But like you were saying, Train, it still does favour, you know, Chiefs, no matter how NASR play on it. It'll be interesting to see the anti-eco goes the way in which you would expect.
It really depends how NASR really takes the T-side rounds, right? It's like, this is the first time they've got a bit of utility to work with. They're going to be missing on some Molotovs. Now the question is, they're going to go for something fast, they're going to go for something slow. How are they going to test the defense of Chiefs here? How are they going to draw out the utility? Because Chiefs are very, very good at dropping their utility at the right time. They're not going to be panicking, especially with the experience in this lineup. But similarly, NASR, they've been around the block for quite a while, so they will be able to adapt slowly as they go ahead. So early on, it's just going to be a bit of default control coming from NASR, but already Infrequent just fast on the challenge, and doesn't really land this kill just as of yet, but he gets a little bit of early information and pushes the T side back.
Early information and early damage, that's pretty much what the aim of the game is there for Infrequent. Does it as well as getting away with his life, doesn't really cop anything, no sort of punishment for that either, so this is going to be an interesting start nevertheless. It will be Greens that actually goes aggressive to find the first kill towards Texter, which, okay, it was a double drop in down, and then Havoc pushes a little bit too wide, and so Iron does find the trade pretty promptly there, so it does bring it back to the 4 versus 4, of course, still favours the T side to a certain extent, being that Chiefs do have to split. They can't just stack the side at the moment, which, I mean, they still are doing. 3 players on A, 1 towards Ivy, 1 just sitting over towards Hal, and 1 spotting from Z to kind of give any kind of information possible.
Here's the thing, Flick still has utility. That's what's allowing this very, very passive play coming out from the Chiefs, because even NASR still have a bit of utility to work with. It's all down to Iron right now on this Ivy position. Doesn't make it work out, so that should be the signal of the rotation coming in from the CT side. Another missed shot coming out from a Frequent should be the opportunity for Kit Kat to be striking. Don't let his cute name fool you. He's going to be blasting away some heads. And just like that, NASR do very, very well. They understand that they've got that 4-on-4. They're just taking their time to open up any avenues or opportunities. They managed to do so. Chiefs are still going to go for this on the back of the FAMAS as well as the MP9, but it's just so difficult to come in at this stage. NASR landing all the shots they need on the A4s, and I'd say that is going to be the first buy round that, I mean, it pretty much resets the Chiefs instantly.
Yeah, it makes things a little bit difficult heading into the next couple of rounds. I mean, this is the... Oh, well, I mean, if Moe can pick up... No, I was going to say, if he could pick up maybe another kill, he might be able to pick up that out of... Oh, he's going to be able to anyway. Never mind. I'm just going to stop talking. The AWP can be picked up from NASR. Now, obviously, Infrequent will be on the AWP if they decide to pick it up, which they do. Now, touching on Infrequent as an AWPer, he is one of the players for Chiefs that can have a monstrous impact, but also has known to sometimes go a little bit missing. So definitely in this best of 3, he will need to kind of be showing his true colors. But to start off with, again, Chiefs will be able to buy back up into this. The utility is actually still there, so they can still play around with this, but Flix needs to be careful. He's going to be pushed quite aggressively, swings out onto the UMP, finds the first, shuts down the second, pushing on out, and that's going to be Texter and Moe. Both coming in for the save. Flix trying to do some more damage, but Havoc is just wreaking what his name so kind of reaps there. So for now, just a bit of a 2v3. It's awkward because the smokes and utility are there for NASR. They will be able to get this bomb down.
I really like how Havoc is playing around this situation alongside with Breaker as well, and that's really just the experience coming in from Havoc. He's the top-rated player for NASR for a reason. That's just intelligent play, and you can see that Chiefs, they are aware of the potential of, they don't know where Breaker is, and I don't even think they know that the bomb has been swindled at this stage. It's all really down to a bit of an overextension from the T side, and not really an overextension from the CTs at this stage. They're playing the correct pattern. Infrequent is just holding for aggression. They can allow the bomb plant to go down. You've got to be giving respect to the Ts in this particular scenario. They can set up some nice post-plant positions. Moe's already low on 12 HP. That's only a single AK bullet away from death. Bomb's going to go down, and the CTs only have a few flashbangs and smokes to help this. They don't have a kit either. They force back up into this Breaker. There's the first shot that they need. There's going to be no trade. And Moe just going in a little bit early, only gets the information on one, but unfortunately no teammates can get that and use it effectively.
Yeah, this is going to be quite the concern right now. Only one smoke to work with for Chiefs, but on the same token as NASR, who have nothing to throw at Infrequent, and this is a time for him to step up. We were just talking about him and the impact that he needs to be having. The smoke will come down to try and hold it, but no. He just fakes it ever so lightly. Breaker swings wide, and a 2 versus 3. It was actually a 2 versus 4. Does swing the way of NASR, and again, well played from the last 2 players. They don't rush anything. They don't feel like they have to be pressured to put the bomb down on B. They have so much time to work with, and inevitably it splits up Chiefs quite heavily. You can see there was one player anchoring towards B, one swinging from Z, you know, between A and B. And I believe it was Moe that pushed towards the back of old Bomb. So, you know,
here's the thing, right, is that entire play was really just down to Havoc just manipulating that way around the B bomb site. He makes it look so easy from that inner train position. He drops the smoke to cover off any AWP angle, and it makes the CTs just not know what's going on at this stage. It's being completely obscured this round. Look, let's just write it off already. It's all pistols. They're on the wrong bomb site. Maybe they can get a kill. That'll be pretty cool. Not going to happen, though. I don't think it's going to happen this stage. NASR, I mean, this is the experience coming in. They're just set up in a way that is just absolutely sublime. Even with Greens, I think, who's the sub at the moment, he's not really part of the core roster. They can still do some work. So Greens goes down there. That's all right. It's not an AK that's retrievable from the CT side unless they can take more successful aim deals. And really, that just comes down to individual play. And Chiefs, so far it's looked all right, but they can't rely on this style of play to carry them forward. They need to do much, much better to be taking down this pretty dominant UAE side so far. Yeah,
they've been flexing quite hard this tournament. Just having a look at their results, they were up against Scars 5 power, D13. Now D13 they were able to take down 2-0. So the first map was a little bit closer than the second, but they've had some pretty decent results, as you're saying, across the board. So this might be the kind of tournament that we do look to NASR and say, you know, you've got a good opportunity to push into that top 4 spot. And of course, after tonight, after we see our 2 best of 3s out, that's pretty much done and dusted for the quarterfinals. We then head into the semis tomorrow. So there is a good opportunity for one of these teams to kind of, you know, make a bit of a name for themselves. Chiefs obviously coming in with a newer roster, a bit of a shake-up as well from the AU shuffle that we saw, which was just absurd to see how many teams actually took the change. But to start with, there's a bit of aggression coming through from bottom ramp there. 2 players just holding the line, and Greens can't really do too much about that there. So, and Chiefs will start off with the man advantage, but with the way NASR have been able to claw these rounds back, you definitely can't count them out.
Yeah, it's really down to Chiefs not making a bit of a mistake here, and I mean, Breaker is unable to get that trade, and Iron is still just dancing around, just being an absolute nuisance, and he's done so well to just pick up 2 and just buy all the time in the world. Doesn't matter if he goes down to the Molotov, he's already done the work, and NASR this time, not landing the shots, maybe just trying to go a little bit too enthusiastically to take out this SL player. They just go right into a choke point. Still want to be careful though. The CT economy is not blossoming yet, and Nami, every single kill they can get at this stage is going to be beneficial. The T's have enough cash to buy up in the next round as well, so I wouldn't even blame Nami at the stage. They're trying to save the AWP and try to pick up any CTs, overextending the reach a little bit. And T's can still buy into it. The CTs, they need to keep 3 rifles to make sure they have a serviceable Y coming forward. If they don't, then that's where things start getting scary.
The thing about Nami at this point is he can still cause so much damage. It looks as though he will be happy to save that AWP, which would be smart seeing Breaker on the 1800 there. So saving that AWP will, of course, allow them a full buy in the next round. Nami can still buy the utility that he might have lost in this round, but it's a round that they will be happy to kind of pull away from. Don't want to lose that AWP, don't want to lose that scope weaponry. I mean, we know especially on train the kind of devastation that an AWP can cause. On both sides of the coin, that is CT and T side. Looks as though we will be getting a pause out. But I think so on the same side of that coin, that like you play from Iron in towards Pop Dog, right? He finds the 2 frags, and even though he dies to the molly, he basically just completely stomps out that push coming into the A side.
I think the problem with that is where Tex is rotating towards and where Tex is going to be making the impact. I don't really feel that Infrequent's really made a presence just yet. The CTs just don't have enough money. And that's the other important thing, right? Nami saving obviously allows their team to get a full buy, and it's actually an insane buy if you consider all things. Only Greens doesn't have a Molotov. But without an AWP, it's how... better than that to get into ticket. That's pretty disgraceful.
Yeah, it needs to be a little bit quicker. That's right, though. And I would dare say Texter will just be playing kind of that rotator in Z. He is, as most of us know, to be the kind of star player who can step up at the moment of need for Chiefs. So there's every chance that he can cause some serious damage to this NASR roster. But then again, you look at the NASR roster, you've got Nami, you've got Breaker, you've got Havoc, Greens who's standing in, but even then he's been playing with NASR for quite some time. So it's not exactly like the situation that you used to. But at the moment, this will be a little bit interesting. We do have 5 heading across towards B, and it looks to be a bit of a fast execution. Yeah,
and the CTs don't have the... I mean, they've dropped the incendiary grenade, but Flix, he understands what's going on. And it's still a great double spray down, which means that he's at the very least able to take down a lot of this pressure. Now it's down to Nami and Breakup, and Freakin still trained on the site. He's going to be hopping. Pushing forward, and Breaker's not going to be expecting... The AWP is going to be out. So that's impact from the rifle from Infrequent. And really, it's just down to Flix once again, getting the ball. He's positioning himself so well on the B side, and as a B side anchor who's just able to position, coming in, dropping his utility in time and not getting caught out, that's really just experience and just firepower. We don't talk about Flix being the star player. He's a B side anchor who does his role so well on the CT side. You sometimes forget like how much of an impact he's actually having inside the game.
It does come to full fruition, especially in a round like that. You know, we see quite often Flix just kind of the radar and always has. I feel as though when he's been, because Texter and Flix have been playing together.
And you're looking back.
You know, just purely the time and effort that they've been able to put into this sort of a game together. You know, there's always going to be that dynamic to those 2 players, and you definitely see it. You know, Flix, who, like you're saying, mainly is that B anchor and just does such an incredible job at being the B anchor. It just kind of makes life hard for any of the other teams, but he will, I would dare say he will have quite the impact in this map, especially if they can kind of allow him to hold that B side. It looks as though Infrequent's across there to give a little bit of support at the moment. NASR just going to be baiting out some utility or so, you would suggest. No, not so much, actually. The bomb is now going to be making its way across towards Brown Halls, and it's going to be up to Infrequent to hold that higher line, which he finds the first, and with that, look at that from Flix, so smart. That smoke comes down, it allows him to get a little bit more aggressive. They're just picking them apart one by one at the moment, and NASR, they're only left with 2 players here, and That is a stronghold coming in from both Infrequent and Flix.
Yeah, I mean, that's also down to, I mean, A, NASR did have a force behind this, and they didn't make the utility work out. And also, B, you have to look at how the A-site defenders were also putting themselves as well. Every single, like, you look at that setup coming in from Chiefs and it goes, yeah, why is Flix going aggressive like that? Even it's the correct decision. It's because the A-site players have grabbed control of this Ivy. NASR's shown presence there, not showing any movements here. Chiefs don't think it's going to be an Outers take. If they do come down from SL, they're more than happy to give enough space. So that's really sublime CT positioning allowing them to get the round. Whereas for NASR, they just don't have the utility really to flush out this, to push them off, or make this round really costly for the Chiefs. I don't even think they lose a single member, and this is where it starts getting a little bit scary for the T side. If Fruken's starting to hit a few shots, he's going to start getting the confidence up. T side, you only have a limited window of opportunity to really make it work out. Every single round is so important. Not saying it's over just yet, but it's starting to look a little bit scary right now.
Well, the pistols in this, you know, like you were saying, it does start to look scary. That I think the saving grace for NASR at the moment is the fact that they're on T side. But the one thing that you can counter propose that kind of is like the fact that this is their map pick. Yes, they're on T side. They know that they're going to be on T side to start. Wow. Okay, Greens. This is something we've seen quite a lot of this weekend, which are just the dirty digs, the Juan digs coming out from these individual players, and Flix is going to be able to make light work of this push. I really like that call from the Chiefs. Don't worry about putting anyone close. Keep 4 players alive, and that's the job's done for Chiefs there. They're like, go for it. Take the bomb.
Here's the whole thing as well. It's because you, at this stage for Chiefs, not denying the bomb plant isn't the hugest ask, because you go, all right, NASR is starting to build up a lost bonus here. We don't really have to immediately reset them. We can just offer, look, Infrequent goes down to a nice shot. That's it, right? You don't lose anyone else. You can still build up the economy. The AWP is actually going to be set up into a double AWP setup pretty early on train, and this isn't the CT side throwing in a desperation AWP. They're just going, okay, we've got the money for it, let's give it a try. And Moe is definitely an AWP that can have some impact. Let's see how he's going to go over here.
The double AWP setup the Chiefs can kind of take into this, it is really dangerous, and especially when we've got 2 maps like Nuke and Train back to back. Train especially, you know, like both sites. You can definitely use that AWP to cause some absolute havoc, some mayhem on either side. So both teams do need to be careful, because Nami has proven himself to be quite the strong AWP, especially in this tournament alone. He has been putting up some unbelievable numbers, and it's not even about his numbers. You know, yes, you can sit there and you can point out the fact that he top frags for NASA every single map, but it's more so for me. It's more so how he does it, and the kind of impact he has on buy rounds, right? We're not just talking about the easier rounds where you can take kills. And again, Flix on an aggressive line. That smoke allows him to do it, and they're reading this perfect right now, Chiefs. But the trades are coming in, and Greens opens up the site single-handedly. That's going to be the backstab coming in, and all of a sudden, things change completely for NASR.
Just feels as if that Chiefs just missed a couple of beats on that rotation. NASR also able to get the they need, and as you get 2 kills on the B site, it's pretty much open for business, and they've got the numbers advantage. Roll critical double, which is a little bit odd for the Chiefs, in all honesty. I think they just got caught in the middle of a transition, and you can't be afforded to be caught in the middle of a transition with the double AWP. You may say it's only a single round, but it does inflict quite heavy damage on your economy. The CTs can still buy up in the next one, but I don't know if they want to persist forward with this, because like I said, it's costly, and it really hasn't reaped any rewards.
No, it's punishing, isn't it? Like, it's the money's there, so you know, there's no stress whatsoever. But I think you were 100% right with being caught in the transition there. Chase had Infrequent, who was wrapping back towards old Bomb, and yeah, that's never gonna favour your side, especially when you've only got Flix there, whose position is aggressive and already known. They can just isolate him.
Like when we saw how that worked for Flix last time, if he positioned himself like that, you definitely need Infrequent trained on the upper line. And Flix is going very early on for aggressive play, and he's been punished for it once again. But, I mean, they can't just commit blindly like that. You can't be expecting the CTs to be caught out a second time in a row. Flix is that aggressive. You've got to be expecting back up there. And that's a little bit foolhardy from NASR, but they can still transition with the 3 members remaining. They've got one pushing over through the Ivy position, but Greens, he's been so good at finding these entries and really swinging it back in NASR's favor. We might see it happen again because there it is. Nami with the ult from the SL. Can't land the shot onto Moe. 2-on-2. Breaker needs to put himself in a nice crossfire with Green. They can't really transition anywhere too far away. Gonna be making sure they keep it tight against the double orbs.
Yeah, they've got utility to use here, Chief, so this can get really dangerous for NASR and it can get hot and heavy. However, the double orb setup is not going to favour them whatsoever. They are going to have to try and play this out against 2 AKs. Oh my word, Infrequent going to be taking the shoulder of Greens, and Moe CQ, he's let Breaker know that he is there. The bomb was stuck from Infrequent, and that is the double orb setup coming out for show. All 5 kills going to both Infrequent and Moe CQ, but what a shot coming in from Infrequent there.
Yeah, that was a hell of a flick coming in, and I mean, that was also really well played from the CT side as well. They're using their orbs to the most tactical angles that they can, and NASR just a little bit of a mistake there in terms of the post plant. They're sitting a little bit further back, and I mean, that's a position, right? They can't trade each other out. If maybe one player is in sandwich instead, that plan was pretty favorable for a sandwich angle. Another person dancing around that hell area, you'd at least have a little bit more dynamic play coming around. Look, at the end of the day, it's still a good shot from Infrequent. You've got to be praising that. Got to be looking at the positives here instead of looking at all the negatives. And I mean, I'm watching again on the second monitor.
Oh my word, that was absolutely ridiculous. The fact that he can realign that scope. Absurd. So Infrequent and Moe CQ come in to shut that round down. NASR are kind of left wondering what happened, but, well, you're on train and the AWPs happened, my friend. It's now going to have to be a bit of a reset for NASR, not just, you know, with their kind of their mental state more so than anything. And, oh, that's well played from Nami there. Moe CQ. I think he gets baited out there a little bit.
That's confidence as well coming in from NASR. They've just practiced that time and time again, and Moe just not really having the usual impact, though Greens he's been doing it a couple of times, and unfortunately you can only do it a couple of times before the enemy realizes what they will cotton on, and they'll just try to adapt around it. We see just there, it's been adapted to. Flick's also pushing the uppers angle, but it's very, very close to being caught off timing as the rest of NASR are going to be committing to the B bomb site. They're coming in through the white halls into the brown halls, and Flicks is in effectively a one and done position.
Seems to be his kind of area, isn't it? But the thing is, he's being allowed to find these one and dones, but not the done. He just gets the kill and gets away. He doesn't get traded. So, you know, there's been no punishment so far for what Flicks has done.
Here's the thing, right? Is that Havoc gets this kill, the round's lost for the Chiefs unless they hit some ridiculous shots. There's no one here ready to rotate to the B bomb site fast enough. And I mean, he's able to get this kill on a Havoc. All he needs to do right now is buy time. So he secures this rotation from SL, and that is the winning play for Chiefs. But NASR, they're boxed in. They've got to fight their way out. They've got to be trading with numbers.
Yeah, Rat's into a corner here, but it's going to be Texter coming from behind to find 2. Maybe, no, he actually only sees the second shoulder, will eventually hit it, but that's the kind of thing we expect from Nami. He shuts down Infrequent. Now he's got 3 more to find. It's going to be Texter next up, and they're going one by one right now. Don't give him the opportunity, but no. Flicks plays it patiently and perfectly as well to shut down the round, and Chiefs, again, they're packing the punches today.
Yeah, that's really, like I said, that round boils down to who gets the kill at that uppers position. Flicks gets a kill, that's Chiefs' one round. As soon as NASR gets the kill, it's NASR's round to win from there. And it is coming down to just a little bit of individual players and how the setup happens. That's it. Can't really argue with it at the end of the day. That is Counter-Strike, essentially. You come down to a few seconds. Look, you get the shots that you need. You can win the game from there. It's as easy as that sometimes on a 4-on-4, and then you don't check where Texter's coming in from. You're too busy hunting down this boy called Flicks, and that is it. Texter gets 2 kills, and then Nami, he puts up a huge effort to at least do a little bit of damage, try to make it competitive, but it's just not enough at the end of the day. Flicks is still alive. CT economy isn't that great, though, so NASR can still try to chip away and try to make this maybe a 5 or 6 round half for the T side. I don't know how to make it overall, though. Chiefs just still look a little bit too good in terms of that B bomb site, which, I mean, NASR are putting a lot of their commitment over to the B bomb site. They're doing it again with a few of the members or into SL, and that just doesn't really tickle my fancy at this stage. You know how strong the B side is. This is now time to start throwing a few executes onto the A bomb site, maybe a few smokes to test out how the CTs are going to go.
I think the biggest problem right now is we haven't really seen NASR bait out any utility from Chiefs so far. All of Chiefs' utility, like you're saying, is pinpoint perfect. Moe CQ can just play towards Sandwich, up on top of the ladder, bounces back off. He will be pushed by Breaker. The trade comes in, but still that player across towards Hull could cause some trouble. But Breaker, he's making things work with the AWP now. It's going to have to be a bit of a sharper retake from Chiefs here.
Well, that's the AWP actually lost quite quickly, and Greens does not need to be committing on that peak, and all of a sudden, I think Texter was alive at Heaven the entire time. Nami, position is compromised, and the CTs can play around it accordingly. There's just too much for Nami to do at that position, and I mean, a little bit questionable so far from Moe in all honesty in terms of his positioning. NASR's really punishing on how he's playing. We've seen the pick at Ivy, we've seen the pick now at Sandwich against Pistols. I mean, it's such a highly confident position to be playing in. And it's very liable for you to be overwhelmed. And he didn't have any backup at that stage. So Chiefs are still looking good so far, don't get me wrong. But as we're coming deeper and deeper into the tournament run, these are small little flaws that you don't want to be seeing in the Chiefs gameplay, because it could ultimately mean they can actually lose some costly rounds. You can see how badly that goes. You can see Breaker getting the AWP kill, maybe NASR picking up a rifle, taking down one of the CT defenders, and that's it. Molotov misses the mark, and Nami just instantly gets the pick.
Oh my word, KitKat unfortunately gets caught trying to jump back across, and again, these are small mistakes coming out from both sides now that we're seeing, and it seems as though Chiefs have been able to capitalize on it better than what NASR have, and that's of course why you can see such a dominating lead at the point. But you know, 11-4 for NASR, this is where things get really concerning, regardless of whether it's a CT-sided map. It's probably one of the more heavy CT-sided maps, one of the more heavily favoured maps in general.
I'm just gonna cut you off for a bit. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like how NASR approached this round. They've got all this utility to work with. They just throw in a bunch of A-site smokes and they've gone, hang on a moment. We've just been able to get onto the bomb site with pistols. What happens when we try to duel it out? We've then got one person going through Ivy. It's not finding success. Come on. It's a double AWP setup. You can't be relying on dry peeking and running out and trying to go, oh look, he can't hear me, right? There's just too much ambient noise inside the crowd. No, that's not the case. Moe's got his ears attuned. He knows exactly what's going on. He's got to deal with a screaming kid. You think he can't hear you? Come on, lads.
Mate, if you can deal with a kid, you can deal with anything. I feel that's the way in CSGO.
And this is just going to be a complete shutout from here. They're making too much noise. They're just going to be walking into a crossfire. Once again, it's the Chiefs. They're just more than happy to wait around. And NASR, they just make a little bit too much noise. They've got enough for Chiefs. They got enough sentries, and there you have it. 10 rounds picked up from Chiefs. And NASR, they've had a couple of early rounds where it looks pretty good, but I mean, the T side's really just fallen flat. Haven't had the economy to be running what they needed to do. Didn't do it early enough. And from there on in, Chiefs have just pretty much strolled to a victory.
I'm just going to very quickly reiterate what you had mentioned at the very start of this game, which was that Flix was going to be a player that could kind of tilt this in the favour of Chiefs. Also Texter, but Flix is the player that doesn't necessarily... I don't think that he gets enough credit. And I think we were talking about that well and truly in the break, saying that he is one of these players that has been kind of quite a strong performer for Chiefs constantly.
I think the whole thing with Flix is when you watch him play, it's really baffling on how he gets kills. This is me reiterating things once again. It's really baffling on how he gets kills because every single... That's... All right, infrequent. Hits a good shot and then just drops the worst smoke that I've seen in probably the last 2 or 3 days or so. Nami, you can't be playing games with Moe. Come on.
Not when they're on this. Not when they've been on point.
I mean, look, and then NASR just lose 2 picks like that. They've achieved nothing. And then the last 3 boys are standing here going, all right, so what map control do we have? We have 0 map control. We've had utility. Why didn't we just throw an execute and the A-site execute worked once? That's the thing, right? They haven't thrown it again. They haven't tried figuring out what Chiefs throw and counter adapt around it. What I'm seeing from NASR is 0 counter adaptation to how Chiefs are playing, 0 ability to suss out what's going on, and Chiefs are just locking this completely out with just smart play. And look, you might call Aussie bias, and maybe NASR can still win this round with the back of some really, really good picks because they brought it back to a 3-on-3.
Still so much work yet to be done. KitKat still holding the line from Sandwich. Finds the instant dink onto Iron, and now things get a little bit interesting. Chiefs have misstepped here. And NASR have punished, so this is going to have to be the retake coming in from Infrequent and Flicks. Now, these are both players we have been pointing out, but Greens with a nice flick onto the head, and Infrequent falls to Breaker with the AWP. Overall, Chiefs have to be happy with this half. I mean, yes, they have made their mistakes. They've made their fair share of kind of concerning plays, but overall, a 10-5 half, regardless of your map or not, you are definitely going to be happy with that. And reiterating, this is NASR's map pick.
That said, though, I mean, that final round being picked up from NASR, well done on that 3 and 5 play. Once again, it's just Chiefs are reading that play perfectly, and they just put themselves in positions where they just go, oh, Moe, just go duel and die. Okay, Iron, go sit passive. And for a player like Iron to be sitting passive, come on, man. You just gotta go big and deep sometimes. And Iron is just one of those players where you have to put him in a position where he just like brawls it out. You can't just be waiting for him to be pussyfooting around. We just see what happens every single time he's at help. He just dies. He doesn't do anything. And come on, man. That's just not good play from Chiefs, good play from NASR. Might be the round that puts it back in their favor, especially if the CT side can get the pistol. It doesn't sound like a huge margin by a single round, but these are the rounds where you can look back afterwards and go, given the context of the situation and how the game ends, it could be important, it could be not important at all. For all we know, Chiefs could wrap it up here 16-5. Look, not going to argue about one round. But no. NASR slowly brings it back. You slowly start thinking about that round where you go, all right, lads, we're on a 5-on-3. We had all the rifles we need. We lost against Galil on a scout. Yep. Like, seriously?
Well, it is such a momentum-based game, and NASR start off the right way. It's actually Breaker to find the first two kills across towards Ivy. Greens, however, shutting down Iron, pushing out. Doesn't expect the boost up on top. Greens is dinked, but at the very least, still 4 players left alive. That extra crosshair, regardless of the HP, they are finding the kills. Texter, he'll shut down Nami, but with Greens on that fast response, finding himself already 2 kills. It's all on Texter. I mean, yes, we could see him do it, but there's just, you know, the chances just continuously, consistently, decrease as that round progresses on. And this is where things can get interesting, right? For us here, we can see what's happening. NASR are starting to gain the momentum, and if Chiefs can't get a tap into that, if they can't control what NASR are going to be able to do, this can just go completely out of proportion here.
Well, I mean, we'll have to see how it goes. I'm not going to just crack an omelette. I mean, I'm a person that oscillates between 2 extremes, but I like giving a full narrative here. NASR, Breaker's been playing very well so far. He's really been the cream of the crop. But the Deagles have come out for the Chiefs. It is a bit of a force buy. And this is something that we don't see as often these days. It can definitely work out because they're still able to get a lot of firepower. Chiefs are relying on their fact that they can get the picks. Don't get the picks, that's fine. Just eco another round, and then you get a full buy coming into a 10-8 scoreline. But you win right now. You reset the CT economy, and there's no such thing as a bonus $500. You just get put straight into the eco bin, as I like calling it. And this one is not so green friendly. Maybe it's not going to be friendly for the greens.
The poor greens. Oh! Moe just gets absolutely punished for that peak. And those are the kind of things that will cost Chiefs in the long run. Fortunately, with no potential to trade, at the very least, they make NASR second guess themselves. They hold on to A for a moment longer with Moe peaking that. But with this setup, it does look as though they are going to be... Still, you can fake out either side at this point, with 2 across there and 1 in towards A. Still so much yet to be done, but Havoc is pretty much just going to be playing as the Guardian, just tapping on the Texter. However, the bomb hasn't been seen, so that's going to cause the rotate, and Texter staying alive is so crucial in that. Green swings wide from Connector to shut Infrequent down. Iron might be able to shut this round, but no, it was a little bit too exciting. It turns into nothing, and NASR, they do lose 3 players, actually, and that might be a bit of a hit to the economy of the CT side, but with only 5 seconds remaining, Texter will definitely be holding on to that, Thanos.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this decision from Texter to save in this case. I would have dropped in and just tried to die as soon as possible because you're actually not going to have a good buy coming into the next round. You're only getting 2.9k after this. That's only 3,000. So you're going to have to be relying on getting FAMAS kills or saving the second round in a row. Either way, it's not really a palatable decision that you really want on the T side. I mean, for NASR, losing 3 rounds, it's pretty costly. Good adaptation coming in from Greens, though. He's really holding his nerve, and he's going, look, I'm not going to fully rotate just because the team spotted one. The bomb hasn't been spotted out. I'm going to be using these little IQ points here and realize there is a potential of this short ladder position, and I like seeing it. Now NASR are starting to get confidence in this. They're starting to try to dictate the terms. You can see them pushing and probing these areas, playing passive on the sites. There's always a bit of give and take. If you want to take IV control, you've got to be a little bit more lenient on the B-bomb site. And you can see Havoc, he's buying into the system. He knows exactly what's going on, and he's going to hear this eventually or spot out a few Ts, and then he's going to go, oh, okay, they're actually on the B-bomb site. Better be careful.
Yeah, it just gets the ding to kind of say, all right, we're here, we see you, but inevitably it's pretty much going to be NASR shutting this round down. It's an easy round, of course, and Chiefs will be happy with the bomb plant and maybe the second kill, and maybe they're getting a little bit too overzealous here, NASR. They don't realistically need to be dropping 2 players in that scenario, but, I mean, hey. It's a force. It's not a force buy. It's an eco round from Chiefs, and they have gone for the bomb plan. Eventually, you've got to go for it. So you are going to lose a player potentially, but
It always comes down to what we talk about. Okay, well, how are they gonna make this work in terms of NASR? Because they win this round convincingly, or even if they keep a few guns up, they're getting rounds on the board. They bring it back close to the Chiefs, and maybe they can figure out the Chiefs' game plan. But still, Chiefs have the leeway of throwing a few different executes around, throwing in a couple of. Shouldn't say this, spastic-like tactics, and see how they go from there. Because you can catch your opponent off timing, and then you just win around from there. You just reset the round. It doesn't have to be the genius play. You can rely on Iron making an Iron play and just win around from there. But is CT aggression coming out as well? NASR really wants to be dictating terms in their map pick. We can see in their setup, they're in the positions to do so. Smokes are covering off all these angles to make sure they can't get picked. And Havoc in that base type position is never going to be fun for Chiefs to be versing against. You can already see that he's just a pretty much raw mechanical player. It's really a vintage kind of sight seeing that.
well, KitKat's going to have to try and hold the line, but it's Moe CQ to find the initial peak. Nami now taking down Iron with Texter pushing out towards Evox. He finds the first swings onto Greens, and this is the kind of firepower that we've come to expect from Chiefs individually. All mechanically strong players. Breaker will fall down in the midst of the firefight, and now Havoc, he's got himself in a 1 versus 3. The HP is low onto pretty much every player from Chiefs at this point. Making his way from Old Bomb, he has quite the task ahead of him, but he takes down the HP, the highest HP player. And with 2 more to find, things actually start to go a little bit more his way. That Molotov, if that spreads just even an inch further, Moe will feel that heat, but it hasn't forced him out of position. And with Texter just holding the line, he might swing wide at the perfect time, and Texter coming in with a monstrous 3K. And this is what we were just touching on.
We always talk about these rounds being really impactful, and Texter, he always... See, you were saying earlier Flix was pretty much the thing that's going to change the tide of the battle. I disagree with that because he's always a consistent factor, right? He's always a known variable. When you're doing, say, for example, integration and stuff like that, you always have to be adding the constant in, right? And that's the same thing. You always got Flix there. Now, Texter, he's the X factor. If he's turning up, he's going to be dropping 30s, getting 3 kills, and he's going to be screaming, come on, man, this is too easy. Give me a challenge. If he doesn't do that, it's going to be easy for NASR. You can see Texter, if he doesn't come out there and get 3 kills, it could very much swing in the favor of the CT side. Regardless, we're talking a little bit too much of could have been, would have been.
Yeah.
It's going to be an eco coming out from NASR. Only KitKat with the buy. Oh. And he's just popping some heads. 1 head.
The 1 head is enough. 1 and done. But it's all hypotheticals that we do like to talk about. That's kind of putting the question into the air. Could it? Should it?
I mean, these are the rounds where you go, all right, what's the game plans from here? What are some hypotheticals? And you can, I mean, for Chiefs at the stage, they have so many things that they can do. They can hold default. They can test and see what's going on. They can then throw maybe a B-side push to try to catch them off timing. In Frequent, I don't think we're spotted out. And Texter's going to come in and go, hang on a moment, wait, what? What's going on over here? There's a few over here.
That's a good laugh from Texter. Comes in, opens wide, just kind of checks T-Con for a second. He's like,
360 checking. He's checking every single position possible at the same time.
That was some series of not unfortunate but hilarious events. However, now it's brought back into a 2 versus 2.
Oh,
what are we watching right now? Don't give Havoc the opportunity. Flix's position is now known. The AWP out into the hands of Havoc. He just has to try and hold the line at this point. And Flix is just going to try and hide. He's got the flash to work with, so he is going to be able to make this work. Needs to be careful. Havoc holding the line. The AWP shot, and that's going to be it. Surely there's not even enough time to get the defuse in. That's going to be the round done and dusted. Hits the shot, but with only 9 seconds left, unfortunately, the spoiler's in. The alert says no, and NASR, they do lose another round, but on the back of knocking down every single player from Chiefs, Havoc picking up the AWP as well. It's not all bad news for NASR here.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely not. You just drop 5 people of Chiefs, and Chiefs are going to be, oh, okay, there was a 4-2, which could have been won by Havoc if Flix overextended a little bit. But once again, out comes the experience. You can see the composure where Flix is going, okay, responsible dad time. I'm going to just peek around and just play with Havoc's nerves a little bit here, and I'm not going to give him any real opportunities. Nothing that Havoc can really do. That's fine. He does still get a lot of damage. You're taking it all forward to the next round, which means that you can get a full belt of utility. But this is where NASR has to pretty much win, I'd feel. If they win this one, they reset the economy of the Chiefs. They force Chiefs into maybe just a single eco or forced by another eco. They've got to navigate that, trying to build up the economy and see how they can bring it back from here. For Chiefs, they need this to be a clean round. They can't afford to allow these rounds from NASR to be consistently doing damage to their own T-side economy and try to build it away from here.
Somewhat of a pivot round, you could say. You know, the economy not in check for either side. Chiefs win this. They look hot. NASR win this. There's potential. So,
I mean, the difference here is that Chiefs have that 4-round leeway. And that's really thanks to the fact that, okay, on the CT side, they had a lot more to play with. It could have probably been a 5-round leeway or even a 6-round leeway at this stage if they got the final one on the CT side. But, I mean, I digress at this stage. It's a single round. It hasn't really cost them so far for the Chiefs, so I'm not going to harp on too long about it, even though I've been harping too long about it. And Greens is just going to be coming straight out and trying to hold on to these positions. Now Kit Kat as well, not giving Chiefs a bit of a break at all. They're going to be hightailing it into the B-bomb site instead. Nami not really finding the shots at the ult that he needs, and Moe, come on, mate. That's just not necessary.
No, he tries to readjust and try to reposition, but Infrequent, now this is what we were starting to talk about, is the fact that Infrequent, he can have these impact. He can have these plays in which can just completely turn the events. And now Flix just holding from that lower ramp. They will be able to peek on the back of that, but Flix does get baited out with a flash. He can't hit the shot. It's all onto Infrequent, missing the initial shot. It can't hit the second. This is a cluster of a round, but he eventually takes down Nami, checks to make sure he is going to be pushed aggressively. Breaker, I don't believe, meant to fall off of the ladder there, and that's going to be a round again going the way of Chiefs. And these are coming down to the wire. But NASR just can't convert.
No, that's just answer. I mean, Nami is just jumping on the ladder a little bit there and just trying to pull off, I don't know, just a mid-air no-scope 360, some real hooligan kind of stuff, which is a bit questionable, mate. This is the quarterfinals. I can understand that you want to make your mark on the game, but that's just not the sensible play to be making. And, I mean, they did so with the flashbang at Inners. It felt like they read the situation perfectly, but Infrequent, he's allowed the opportunity of landing a few more shots to really make the damage for the Chiefs, and that works out perfectly well for them. Are going to see a tactical pause coming out from the Chiefs, and they do realize there still is a potential of NASR taking a round on the back of the saved orb.
Still so much damage again. Like, if Breaker can actually make this work, the Deagles can come in for the mop-up. And this is where Chiefs can misstep a small portion, but overall, the way that they've been able to kind of keep regardless of the grip, whether it's tight or loose, Chiefs have still got it in their balance. So we can't keep telling the story that NASR are getting close and, you know, eventually maybe, because Chiefs are only 3 rounds away now.
Here's the thing though, right? I mean, we can say they're getting close and everything, and they are. That's the whole thing. And you're looking at this series being, okay, we're jumping onto Nuke afterwards. So what's the third map? Can't remember.
Third map's Inferno.
Inferno. So NASR's just getting to a stage where if they're going to try and read what's going on, they go, okay, this is how Chiefs are playing. This is how we can punish them. What can we do overall in the series? Just like that, they get the first pick onto Infrequent, and now out comes the bust on the B bomb site. They're still losing 1 gun for the Chiefs. Still a lot of guns alive for the CT side, especially with how is Havoc still alive for so long? Iron's got to be landing some of these shots here. It's got to be sharper than that.
Be a lot sharper, but Texter, janitor duties, he finds 2, and the third will push out into his angle again. Texter finding a multi-frag round to secure it for the Chiefs. I mean, still then they've got the safety net of both Flicks and Moe CQ, but Texter says, no thank you. I don't want to test this. I'll do all the work myself.
I mean, you need to be keeping as many rifles forward for the Chiefs, just in case something goes poorly for you, and you can see that their economy is still struggling on most of their players. They've won, how many rounds have they won now? Like, I think the last 5 or 4 in a trot. So 4 in a trot, and they're still looking pretty broke. I mean, that's just, it really is showing how close these rounds are, how much damage NASR have been able to do, but NASR just been unable to convert, and this time around just changing up the pace, and NASR just caught out completely unaware, and I think that's pretty much game.
Yeah, it should be, unless KitKat can start to claw these rounds back a little bit further, but falling down to a Molotov is not good enough. Texter swings on a Havoc after finding the initial peak, and Breaker, he's got way too many players to find, way too many angles to check, and Chiefs are literally just steamrolling at this point. I mean, again, talking about NASR and the fact that they have been getting it close, if you can't seal the deal, unfortunately, doesn't matter how close you can get.
Yeah, and it's going to be a tale of, when you look at the scoreline, it is most likely, pretty late timeout to try to figure out what's going on. But I was about to say that it doesn't matter how close that some of these rounds get, it's always going to be a case of they were unable to close out some favorable circumstances. They had a lot of, I guess, 4-on-2 positions, 4-on-3 positions that they couldn't close out on the CT side. Their economy has been completely destroyed. And Chiefs, they just had a little bit more firepower on Texter and Infrequent. Haven't really seen NASR step up in this run.
No, Chiefs, I think credit due to Chiefs, definitely, with the way that they've played this T side as well. They haven't just done the same things over and over. They've actually changed it up quite a lot. They have sent 2 or 3 players individually in certain rounds towards that A site and faked it out. But in that round there, they just commit fully to the A site. And unfortunately, NASR, I think that's one of the first time Chiefs have just gone straight to the A site fast. So, you know, like these are the kind of things that you can change up and punish quite aggressively.
But you don't have any rounds to do so now. I mean, they're going to try and swing regardless of the B bomb side, but I mean, Texter's just going to go, hang on a moment. There was one thing that worked out pretty well for us just then. And even if you take SL control at the stage, I mean, what can you do as the CTs? They're so concerned that they're still going to be in T inside SL, flinging a bunch of utility. Bombs already down. And there's no kits for the CTs to work with. There's only a KitKat. That's not, you can't defuse with that. He can frag.
Like he does.
As he does, but they just walk into a meat grinder in SL at this stage. They still manage to get the kills work out. And, oh my goodness. Double barbecue coming in from Iron. Well, instantly, this round is going to be taken away. It's going to be 16-8. Map number 1 going in the favor of the Chiefs. And really, the firepower is there. We're going for a short break. We'll be back on Nuke very, very soon.
best audio setting is the one you're comfortable with, so you can act and react anytime. Intuitive touch panel for treble and bass adjustment. With driverless design, you just plug and play. Everyone grips the mouse differently, so how can one mouse work for all? Different sizes and shapes for your options. Pick the one that fits your grip for long-lasting comfort and gameplay. With driverless design, you just plug and play.
As far as I know, everyone on the team who has tried the new screen from BenQ is using the feature with 240 Hz. It's so amazing, the transition is so great.
I think for me the most important when I play the game is that I feel that all my actions directly represented on the monitor. This is just another level on top of that, I would say.
It improves your gameplay a lot. You can react much faster on these kinds of monitors, and like once you play on 240 Hz, you can't go back.
Personalize the way you see everything, and then conquer. Exclusive black equalizer brightens dark scenes without overexposing bright areas. Use the S switch to quickly access the setting and switch between save modes. Adjust the angle effortlessly for maximum comfort.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Zowie Extremesland. It is the Asia quarterfinals at the moment. And as far as I can tell right now, none of the admins have stopped the game so far. They're just going straight forward.
Oh.
And Nami, you wanted to say that he didn't have such a great performance over there on train, Manic, and at least he's starting off with a pistol on the right foot.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that very quickly, because Nami has been the standout performer for NASR, and to go missing on the first map of your best of 3 in the quarterfinal, not exactly missing, that's not the right way to put it. No one actually went missing on that map. I just feel as though the way he's been able to play was not up to scrap. However, Scrappy will be the aim of the game here on this A side. Already it's going to be Iron to find Havoc to shut that down, and it's now 4v4 after both trading players.
And Breaker is going to come in, but I mean, it's still so difficult. The CTs are trying to breach in at the stage, but Kit Kat, some nice shots coming in at the end. It's all down to Moe, and he needs to find so many aim deals working in his favor, but unfortunately, the bomb is planted on the opposite side. Breaker does have the kit as well, so NASR, at the very least, able to grab the pistol, manage to get the first kill, and compose themselves to complete the retake successfully. Chiefs though with the bomb plant, they're just going to eco once. They're going to have a huge buy coming in. Try not to fall into that hole at the moment.
Yeah,
I nearly did.
I twisted my ankle the first day I was here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was solid.
Welcome to Sydney.
Take that. First cast for ESL. Rip the medical bill. That's right. It looks as though they might be going for the squeaky door plate, and they're not even going to be allowed to. It's Breaker and Kit Kat just holding the lines with the crosshairs. Just finding the crossfire and making light work of this. NASR will just pick up all 4 members, not even dropping a single hit point. Oh,
okay.
How?
That's actually pretty big. Flix has managed to get his way down there with a bomb. NASR come in a little bit too late, and that's the second bomb plant in a row. That's it though, NASR keep all 5 alive. That's going to be beneficial in coming into the next round and maybe the future rounds. They are starting on the CT side, a new after all. But Chiefs, they've got all the utility they want to work with. They can even get the zoom in Freakin's hands if they decide to do so. They're not going to be zippity zoomiting just yet. Nami will though.
Oh, that's interesting. So the AWP, third round in technically. Iron still unsure. Yeah, I think they might have just been discussing what the point of action would have been there, but just 5 AKs to roll with this. A lot of utility to use, so there's so much room for Chiefs to kind of move, wiggle, jiggle, however they want to make this work, and Flix takes a nasty tag to start with, however trading back the damage. Nami drops to 27 HP. Breaker as well, just going to be tapping through the smoke to try and find somewhat of a shoulder. He does manage... Oh, Moe's been dropped to 17 HP. Now that makes things a little bit more devastating for Chiefs. Now 2 players, they just pretty much look like marshmallows at this point.
Okay, but here's the problem at the moment, right? Look where all the CTs are currently at, and I mean, Infrequent, I don't really think he needs to be challenging that angle. Breaker does go down, and I think there's only going to be a single player right now on that B-bomb site, which is going to be Greens. They really need to be cleaning him up, and Iron does a fantastic job of doing so. Now the CTs can come rotating in, 3-on-3. HP are low on some of the members, and the bomb plant hasn't gone down just yet as well. So this is not the most, this is not the most favorable circumstances right now for the T side. Kit Kat still on full HP, has a flashbang and an HE, but Iron's just able to get the wraparound all down to Havoc. 18 hit points and only a UNP.
Yeah, it was kind of hard for NASR to make that work there. Both CTs completely separated from each other. Havoc with only the UMP to work with. 18 HP. This is not looking very likely for the NASR side right now. However, they could make a moment of magic, maybe find themselves a kill with Flix being so low. So there's an opportunity. There's a world in which Havoc makes this kind of possible. But
he's backed off. He needs to go save a rifle, maybe even find that AWP on Nami, which was lost in... I don't even remember where it went down. It might have went down near the A-bomb site.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure where that went. I have no clue, but that's all right. Havoc should be able to upgrade to an AK. There are 3 that are dropped, and if not, I'm pretty sure there was 2 M4s or something of the likes. So there's so much for him to be able to kind of go and collect. There'll be utility lying around. So, you know, he could actually end up saving quite a bit. There we go. The AK will eventually be saved, and he can just back away for now, hold on to that AK, take it into the next round, and there could be some... Oh, okay, well, Iron fell. So now the economy for Chiefs is still... it needs to be careful here, because if NASR even can just buy around the AK, they can reset the Chiefs here Technically.
Right, so this is what they need to do, is if they are not committing into this, they need to eco. If they are committing, they should have done that a lot earlier because they talked about that for a very long time, and really this is a really half-assed committal, if I say so myself. They can still manage to make it work out, but man, you had enough to at least get 4 rifles as well as a few pistols working. Where's the lobby pressure coming in from the T's though? They just conceded one and they had to back away.
Yeah, it's late and non-existent from Chiefs, actually. So that's going to be quite the punishment. A bit of a slap on the wrist for Chiefs. They will surely not want to be following suit. Breaker finds one. Moe CQ fast on the trade. However, there was Nami, I believe, who was just underneath Heaven. So there's actually 2 players across there that could do some damage. Havoc on the other side. So it is just Nami isolated. But with Moe CQ making a bit more of an aggressive play towards CT, he could be caught out as well. Now, this is a problem for Chiefs. If they're isolated in all of these 1v1s and they just fall bit by bit by bit, there is a huge opportunity for NASR to make this work. And it looks like Nami might have the angle there. Oh, wow. Okay, so at least he finds the dink. The trade comes in, and this is just what I was touching on.
Yeah, I mean, Greens might be peeking at the right angle to catch one of these T's off timing, but still, Flick's able to hear the footsteps. It has been a costly round for the Chiefs, but Havoc can still get himself in a nice position to try to contest the post plant. Molotov into the decon area. Havoc going to be dropping through the opposite side towards a control stairs position instead. Has a kit to work with as well, so he's not going to be too nervous about trying to make a huge play coming out. He's just going to see if he can find any windows of opportunity. But Flicks, just once again, just a little bit too solid.
Just very quickly, did you mean that pun? A window of opportunity?
Don't be like appealing on me, mate.
Did you mean that? Or was that
Could have.
Was that just the timing of the magic? Regardless, Chiefs pull away with that one. Again, still the economy for Chiefs is in the balance. So too NASR. Both teams are at that pivot round. We saw it in the previous. Chiefs were able to, however, edge in front of NASR, and that's where we saw a handful of rounds go. I'm talking about Train, for those of you who missed it. Finishing 16-8, actually, so maybe the scoreline isn't justified from the way NASR were able to kind of keep it close, but regardless, if you can close out the rounds, doesn't make a difference.
That's it. You can keep it close. You can be having a really good contest and keeping the economy honest, but all it takes is maybe 2 or 3 rounds where Chiefs, they have some of their individual players fragging it up, and all of a sudden that opportunity is sealed away. And Chiefs just going to be slowing things down. You're going to be taking this out as control and potentially sneaking into secret. But that's a really good counter flashbang coming in as well. So Breaker once again, good play coming in from NASR. Looks like they've got some solid setups on this outers position, and it's doing some good work right now. But with all this heavy emphasis in outers as well, Chiefs, they'll have the information to know this for later rounds, and they have the potential of throwing these fake smokes and then hitting that A-bomb site quickly instead.
Does leave so much to the imagination of NASR, like you're saying. With those smokes, they always have to second guess themselves. They can never commit to hold A. They've got to be careful because for the past 2 rounds, Chiefs have taken outers and comfortably so.
KitKat getting a lot of this information it's going to be absolutely critical, but Tex is still in heaven, and I don't know if anyone's really covering his position. Beautiful flashbang as well. It is going to be Havoc covering it off. But eventually Commit's going to come forward. Havoc's going to be watching it. Information not really granted to the T's just yet. Okay, it looks like the information has been granted in the end. So Flicks, he's the last one left standing. He's trying to trade out efficiently, but he's just too low in hit points, and both CTs are going to be there on the A-bomb site thanks to the push-in from KitKat earlier on. So NASR at least able to grab around. You can see just the damage done in the previous rounds. It was a very minimal investment round. Chiefs, they just did not watch the sectors correctly. And they're punished now. They're back onto the eco. They're actually going to force up into this.
I don't mind that at all from Chiefs. They know that NASR, their economy will be weak as well. If they can take a couple of rifles off them, again, it'll just keep them honest. It'll keep them guessing in the later rounds when Chiefs can buy again, but they are just going to go fast towards outers. This is the kind of pressure that Chiefs can bring to a map like this. This, of course, being one of the better maps that Chiefs have had in their roster for quite some time now, for realistically, longer than 6 months.
Look, we'll have to see how it goes with this new roster.
Yeah.
Obviously, this new roster very new in terms of how everyone's playing their positions and greens. He's got so much work to do, but I don't know if that's a position you want to be playing with against a few opponents. He just gets traded out, gets absolutely demolished, and this is such a hard bomb site for the CTs to get into, especially when the Ts have this control of decon, of this window area. They can get the bomb plant safely behind when they decide to do so.
Oh, Kit Kat. That's the kind of opening you need to be finding. And now Texter will be able to trade out for the M4. So this is where some serious damage can be inflicted. However, with Moe CQ getting caught out, there's no one there for the fast trade. And unfortunately, the round is slowly starting to fall to nothing but flicks from behind. He's a double agent right now, hides. But Kit Kat will eventually come in. Flicks just walked in from behind the enemy lines. I don't actually know what happened there. There were two players holding ramp and found both.
See, here's the thing, right, is that Chiefs took way too long to get the bomb plant down. They managed to get the picks that they needed to, and when you're on an eco, you've just got to be committing and get the bomb plant, because even if you go down, okay, you have enough players on that unders bomb site, you got control of window, you got control of decon, there's really nothing to be scared about. A guy cannot come and swing and deny the bomb plant, resolve the situation afterwards. You need the cash. The fact is they just don't plant. Texter's got it the entire time. He's sitting around, and I really don't blame Texter. He's a firepower that you really want that's stepping up for your team, but it doesn't change the fact that you don't have the plant money. You're not allowed a situation for Flicks to do further damage because the CTs can just be waiting forever. And as a result, this is going to be a full eco. NASR want to keep this round clean. Have to keep this round clean.
Yeah, they can't afford to be punished again. So too, it'll be Havoc to find the first. They just kind of back away after that. They disengage. Actually, no, Havoc's going to stay aggressive towards Hut, and for that, he does quite a bit of damage towards Infrequent. The bomb's looking to drop in towards that lowers area. However, the chase was on, and Kit Kat will just catch out the backside of Flicks. And, oh, that's really nice from Moe. I don't mind that bit of cheeky play. That's the experience coming in for you, but eventually Kit Kat will take him down, and 5-2. NASR starts to edge in front a little bit, start to gain a little bit of control of this map, and especially on CT's side, you want to be taking as much of this as you possibly can. But knowing what the Chiefs could possibly have in store, this will be a hard map for NASR to fight. It will have to be tooth and nail from both sides, actually.
You can see kind of the flip side. We were criticizing NASR and Train when on the T side. They didn't have enough firepower individuals pushing them over the board, and now you're seeing that Chiefs, okay, where's Texter? He's not getting that multiple 3 frags. He's not getting the kills that Chiefs really need for the impact. Infrequent, still not making his mark in the game so far. No kills. Doesn't really have the AWP necessarily, because on the Chiefs, don't really have the cash to be running the AWP, but at the same time, to take so much damage from utility, this is such a nice setup coming in from NASR. And I mean, this is just completely stalled to a halt. Kit Kat's still here, and Kit Kat unable to really get the spray transfer down, but Havoc's just can buy so much time at the moment. The T's is forced to just sit still. They're in a stalemate. They can't move anywhere.
Yeah, it's a bit of a Mexican standoff. Infrequent, however, doing some damage to Nami. Havoc swinging wide to find the trade. If Infrequent finds that kill, things get a little bit more interesting, but it never happens. Unfortunately, Chiefs, now they're kind of staring down the barrel at, again, another eco or a bit of a half buy with some pistols, maybe some utility if they're lucky, but I think they'll just stick with the Glocks and maybe just try and put some pressure on one individual player. Actually, there's some armor being brought up, so they've made a late round call. It's not the worst, and the smokes that they do have allow them to keep NASR guessing, but it is going to be all dependent on where they decide to put them.
I just haven't seen like a sick fake coming out, and Breaker is just getting really enthusiastic at the moment. He just wants to dictate the terms of the Silence MP5, and he's just really keen on doing so. I mean, NASR, they're starting to get really confident. You can see a team when they're confident, they're starting to stroll in, take these fights, because they're going, hang on a moment, Chiefs, how do they even beat us in Train? Like, we're out-aiming these kids.
Yep.
And Breaker is on 11 kills, so is Kit Kat. And no one's really stepping up to the par in terms of the Chiefs. I mean, Flicks has been solid as per usual, but like I was saying, you can't be relying on Flicks being the major impact player. You need your X Factor and Iron, Texter, and Frequent to be stepping up, and they're just not stepping up so far on the T side. I haven't seen any exquisite fake.
No.
This is, dare I say it, this is just boring from Chiefs. This is not looking like a tactically, it's not a tactical style of taking this T-side control. They're just barreling down ramp, and it's like, that's cool.
Well, speaking of the Devlin, he shall appear. Finally, some smokes towards the outers, which do cause some rotations, and it isolates Greens. However, he's putting in work with the MP5, finding two swinging from side to side. One player from the back of sight. KitKat now going to be able to stop this push from coming in, and Moe CQ has too much to do. Chiefs, yes, they changed things up. It's not so stale that round, but it actually looks a little bit dull, dare I say.
Oh, man, this is... I'll put it this way, right? You pick Nuke, and we said, this is the same criticism I angled at NASR as well, NASR, is that, okay, you pick your team map, you need to have some good executes and fundamental understanding how to push the CTs around. And Chiefs, they're a lineup that should have so much experience, and the fact that you just go, lol, let's just go ramp when we have all the utility in the world, we've noticed that we can take out as control, force them to rotate there, we could hit A, we haven't thrown execute onto A, we haven't relied on our firepower. Come on, lads, just not good enough at this stage. They're just walking in one by one into Breaker. I mean, admittedly, NASR at this stage, the individuals are really stepping up. Breaker is just looking so good at this stage, but come on, Moe, you got to be hitting these shots. You can't be allowed to give Breaker another opportunity of doing more damage. And KitKat, talking about all of NASR just hitting their shots now, and Chiefs, they're just not connecting anything at all.
Yeah, just firing on all cylinders. I mean, that's probably the best way to put it. We're just seeing NASR really start to take that step, that leap into kind of that realm of confidence on Chiefs map pick. Yes, it is a bit of a CT-sided map, and yes, NASR, you know, they still have the firepower, the caliber of players to do this, but Chiefs are actually allowing them to do this. And it's a little bit, it's kind of unforgiving. It's been very stale, and at this point, if Breaker can hold this line, finally they might be able to get down in towards Secret. Unpunished relatively, they do take a little bit of damage on the cross, but now going to be making their way deep in towards Secret.
Look at the confidence from Greens. He just pushed all the way through ramp, and he's just gone, they're not in lobby. This is 100% an unders committal. And the CTs don't even have to worry too hard about it because they've just got the angles that they can use. The Yorp, you can see Nami picks one up there, but the pistols at close range, you can't be rushing situations like that as the CT side. Finally, Chiefs in the position they can do some damage.
I mean, you would hope so, but right now with the way NASR are playing, I still have this moment of belief. Nami going to be shutting down Flicks, and now that progresses for Texter to push on out. And KitKat spotting out the first, swinging onto Iron, and now it's all into Infrequent. He has such a task ahead of him. Only 2 seconds left on the bomb. He's going to hit the shot through the smoke. Can't do so. And another round going the way of NASR, wiping out all of Chiefs, and what looked so promising again. NASR are just flexing.
All right. Where's attack pause coming out from the Chiefs? There's just so many rounds that they've dropped. Like, what's going on here? We saw a train that they're taking a lot of tactical pause to try to fix these problems. This is the problem at this stage. I feel like, I mean, I obviously don't have a camera shot. Probably no one's talking at this stage for the Chiefs. And it's just looking... I'm sorry, as an Australian, this is just looking absolutely garbo. Like, this is not... Chiefs can play better than this, and they're not stepping up to the occasion. And if NASR are able to bring it into Inferno and keep the form up, I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised to see at this stage. It was really swinging between the confidence for both sides. NASR looking so much better, stepping up. Chiefs, they're slowing things down. This is good to see. Have a good talk about where you can really be exploiting. There's still 3 rounds to play for. It's not the end of the world. But what NASR have been able to do very well early on is get some early damage, get some early control. Not happening this time around. Chiefs not allowing the early damage to happen from the utility.
Yeah, these individual battles have just been won so far from NASR. Maybe it's time for a little bit of a change. We can see a bit of an execution on towards that upper side, but look at the counter utility coming in. Havoc goes aggressive in towards Hut, but it's going to be the trades coming in the favor of Chiefs, and goodness me, finally we see the firepower that we know from Chiefs. However, Nami, don't give him the opportunity to make this happen. Don't give him the 1v1s. Stop it. This is not what we need to see from you right now. Nami, he can step up in a major way, shutting down Infrequent, but no, just not close enough. Flicks pulls it back at the last laugh, and oh my word, again, 4 players left alive for Chiefs there. Such a nice take on the A side, and it nearly falls apart.
Yeah, I mean, huge individual effort coming out from Nami with the Yorp, but like you're saying is that this is just looking absolutely shoddy coming in from the Chiefs. There's one player there. Individually, Chiefs are peeking out. They all want to be the heroes, but you can't be the heroes when you're down. I mean, Flicks, he's the hero at the end of the day. They still secure a round, and that's really important on the T side. Any round to work with is absolutely fine. Now Iron's fast up, and this is where they're starting to punish a little bit of NASR going aggressive, and this is good seeing from the Chiefs. They're not taking so much early utility damage. They're allowing NASR to drop all their grenades, and then they're moving forward. So they are adapting at the right time. We're criticizing them quite heavily for not adapting. Finally, they're doing it, and you can start seeing a little bit of success. But Nami, he just looks like he's not missing at this stage. He is so lightning quick on the AWP. Big turnaround coming in from Train, and he's just shifting up the angles, changing it up, making it difficult for the Ts to really be playing around this.
Yeah, we called upon Nami, and so he is starting to deliver. You know, looking really hot right now to kind of, I wouldn't say be carrying. There's no need for a carry right now with all of these players doing what they're doing, but Flix, again, just... he feels as though it's the knight in shining armor situation. He seems to be the person that's stepping up and holding onto the rounds when no one else can. Moe CQ with a nice angle on towards Breaker. He wouldn't have heard Texter push up either. So now that should be a free kill from Texter with Moe still hanging down. The flash will come in. He now knows, but Breaker, he's just got too many players to deal with. This can be quite the problem as Flix, if he does fall, the trade will be instant, but it doesn't make a difference. Checks the angle, but Havoc does some damage. And now Nami, surely not again.
You have to say that surely they don't give him the space, especially with some shots ringing out as well. So the flashbang to try to assist. You can see Texture is making sure they're not coming in from vent. Moe is spotting out to this outer's position. Nami's still going to try to chip away and nearly lands a shot as well. That's definitely a signal to be backing away right now. I mean, if they're able to take down this AWP, that's going to be absolutely huge, because if they're able to deny this, they could do a lot of damage. But similarly, you can't be rolling like that by yourself. Finally, someone shuts down the killing spree. It's appropriate, it's a frequent on the AWP. We're into the final round. NASR actually have an eco. I mean, not really an eco. They can force buy into this, but for the first time, it feels like the CT side has been broken, and there's been off some nice play coming out from the Chiefs as well. They've been able to slow it down. They're finally able to nullify the early aggression. They gain the crucial pick, something we didn't see earlier this half. They really started, I guess, slapping some sense in themselves, and we saw that change coming in from the 13th round, just as we were criticizing them. So it's good to see them making the turnaround. Is 4 or 5 rounds going to be enough? Is going to be the real question. We'll have to see how NASR's T-side's going to fare as well.
Well, that's the other side of the coin, isn't it?
100%.
We can sit here and say that, yes, NASR are individually stepping up on CT side, are strong, they're holding lines, they're doing well in their duels, but T-side Nuke is a whole different kettle of fish. And so we will have to see the performance come in, but at this point, with Chiefs starting to gain the momentum, the tail is starting to turn a little bit here. The story is starting to be rewritten, and maybe if we can start to see the likes of Infrequent on the CT side on that AWP step up and kind of cause the nuisance that we know he can, we know what he's capable of. And if he's able to make this work right now, things do start to change. Nami, he goes for the repeat, finds a second as well, but if Flix will completely shut him down, it's going to be Iron to support Kit as you do see him to his grave. Unfortunately, the Molotov forces Breaker out of position completely. Look at this from Havoc. This is the kind of confidence we've been seeing from NASR. It has been nullified, or all but nullified, but look at the timing on this. Oh my word, if Iron kept pushing, that would have been sad and sorry, but Greens is going to find the perfect timing on the Flix. Shuts him down, and with Havoc coming from behind, that might be Iron out of the picture as well.
Right, where's Moe at this stage? He's all the way in control, and to break this, I mean, he has to break the windows, but Green spotted him out, and oh my goodness, how has Green's gotten away with this? Finally, it's all down to Iron, but Havoc has managed to make the lurk work, and oh boy, 11 rounds on the CT side. Like I said, Chiefs have done well enough to at least get 4, but overall, in that middle part of the half, it was looking really uninspired and really not happy with what I saw from the Chiefs. I say this because I know that the caliber of the players and experience should be able to hit a lot better, but similarly, I can commend NASR and playing much better on their CT side as well. They need to be able to transfer this form onto the T side and continue forward from here. Because, like we're saying, Chiefs are up 1-0 so far in the series. Nuke is always a CT-sided map. And Chiefs, they get pistol, get a little bit of cash, get that confidence rolling, you know, and Frequent gets the juices flowing, and he starts hitting a few flick shots. Nami on the T-AWP, it's not always as easy as the CT AWP. Things can change. It all depends on the pistol and the consecutive rounds afterwards.
Yeah, this is where Chiefs have to step up. They can't allow them to get onto this site for free. It's going to have to be Moe that holds the line. KitKat finds the first. Havoc and Nami just causing mayhem, and Moe can't get anything done before you can even take a breath. It is going to be NASR to take possibly this second pistol round, but however, Flix, you don't want to give him the opportunity. We've seen him do it before. He's being called upon, but Can he answer that call? 3 players to find and a defuse. I'm not even sure whether Chiefs were able to buy a kit or not. So that might completely change the tide there. He does pick up a kit and a smoke. So there is the opportunities he's looking for. But Havoc, he shuts it down before he can even get rolling.
Always actually scary to have Flicks in that position. He's the man who, I think, is the most consistent player outside Leon's getting clutches. And it's just ridiculous when you think about it because he's not really that explosive player that you expect to get the clutches. He's just solid. But this time around, solid doesn't cut it because Havoc, he is a demolition machine. And I mean, NASR gained that pistol, putting themselves 1 round closer to just getting the map victory and forcing it into Inferno.
I mean, you feel like that's kind of where it's headed, right?
It's so hard to tell. Chiefs are forced up into this. All it requires is a huge couple of big players from either side, and this map could either be closed or wide open, depending on the scenario. And this is the first player that's going to be coming out from the T side, and Frequent with the Deagle, tagging up Kit Kat, break him in half a little bit. He makes the name a little bit too easy for us Aussies,
gorgeous.
to be fair.
That was absolutely gorgeous.
I mean, not as gorgeous as the man himself, but really you can say that these lads on NASR, not bad looking blokes. And with the caps as well, clearly just got that cap buff going in Counter-Strike.
Iron unfortunately can't get anything done there, but some damage. So not only Havoc and Kit Kat both being low, but the 2 kills have gone the way of NASR so far. I believe Texter might have been able to hear Havoc. It's all onto the play. Nope. He's going to be completely clueless. And Havoc will shut him down. Moe CQ and Flicks are all that remain for Chiefs. The damage needs to be done to the economy. They can't come away with nothing at this point. They need to be able to find a kill. Havoc just picking up 3 for the round. And that's just the money maker there. $1,800 Doritos in the bank. And Moe CQ has absolutely nothing to show for it. He has to put his tail between his legs and possibly hold on. We'll be able to pick up a UMP, I think, and surely we don't just start to see the kills come in towards the end.
I mean, this is every single kill right now is actually pretty solid for the CT side. Even though they can't buy in the next one, they're able to... Look, it's SMG's loss at the end of the day. If NASR's able to read into the fact that it was actually a buy round, then they're just going to buy SMGs. It's really depending on what Havoc gets here and if they're going to drop Breaker and Assault Rifle. No, so Breakers pick... Okay, so they both pick up SMGs. They know that Chiefs actually have that force buy, so they're just going to go straight and just go back into money farm. They know it's going to be all USPs. They know even the next round's going to be so rough for the CT side economy as well. It's not going to have the greatest in terms of utility and everything, so more than happy to be rolling as a 5-man force. They're just slowing things down for now, though. Just making sure Chiefs aren't pushing in before they decide to take the sites.
So the line from Iron just giving Texter somewhat of support, but however they drop from Annex, there's nothing you can do, son. You're going to be spanked. So right now, I mean, you wouldn't think that these teams have taken opposite map picks, but trading them, apparently. There's still every chance for Chiefs right now. If we can see that AWP come out earlier on into this half, maybe Infrequent can start to turn the tides a little bit, but it doesn't seem to be the case so far. NASR starting to puff their chests a little bit here, and rightfully so as well. We did touch on very early in this map the fact that even Train, it was close, but no cigar for NASR. So many rounds they found themselves in 1v1s, 2v1s, and just couldn't close it out. So this is where we start to see NASR kind of coming into their own. And what am I seeing right now? How are the pistols still being able to do so much damage? That's a complete eco from Chiefs coming in. They find 3 kills. The bomb is still placed down from NASR, so they're still playing for the post plant, but it's just a little bit too dangerous.
They drop a lot. I mean, they lose one of the rifles, and they have to reinvest once again the SMGs, and that is a little bit of leeway for Chiefs maybe to work with in their first buy round. No AWP, though, in the hands of Infrequent, which is no good. I mean, he's a serviceable rifler, but you definitely want him on the AWP. Getting a few sharp shots, then he's the one that can really cut things away for you. NASR already got one down in Vent. Havoc, he's already slipped through. I don't know if the CTs can rotate anyone down in time, but you can see the Ts can take their time and just mobilize around, see what they can get done at the end of the day. Is Texter looking to wrap back around. I mean, Infrequent's already gone down. Havoc is still here in the Unders bomb site. There's been no call. He's actually been able to get through Squeaky, and that's it. This round is over and done for unless the CT's going to go absolutely ham right now. Moe's been spotted out. Deacon's being covered. Tex is the only one that's found some success so far. But Kit Kat.
Call me Kitty Cat.
I told you, it's like, you think this guy called Kit Kat is like raw, but he's actually just destroying your team.
He's a gamer. He's an absolute gamer.
Even Greens is coming in as a sub, and he's just putting in a huge performance.
There's no one on NASR that you can look at right now and say you're not performing well enough. Not a single player.
100%. And then you look at on the Chiefs side, right? We're talking about your big linchpins, and this is it's a bug at this stage. It isn't Texter on 16 kills. He's on 8 kills.
Infrequent only sitting at 5, and that's kind of the inconsistency when you can't pick up the AWP.
And that's also, I mean, that's also down to the inconsistency overall in some of these players. They have so much explosive power to really just single-handedly take away the game, but similarly, sometimes it just goes missing. You're left scratching your head going, what's going on?
Please fix.
I mean, it's up to the players to be fixing that at the end of the day, and Iron can't get it done. He is no Magisk. And this, I think, might slowly be the end right now. NASR are just landing all the shots they need, and I mean, they're just looking so good doing it at this stage. Chiefs, this is not even the buy that you really want to be fighting with. Moe, now he's going to give a good impression of the XM. Gets one, but he's mollied off. He's going to try and dance around.
No, it's being caught out. Havoc already on the line. Infrequent and Flicks are all that remain for the defense. Infrequent can find one with the scout. It's all up to the big man himself. We were just calling upon him. Can't hit the no-scope, and that will be map number 2 done and dusted.
We are jumping into Inferno. We'll be back right after the break to see who's going to be dropping out and who's going to proceed forward.
The best audio setting is the one you're comfortable with, so you can act and react anytime. Intuitive touch panel for treble and bass adjustment. With driverless design, you just plug and play. Everyone grips the mouse differently, so how can one mouse work for all? different sizes and shapes for your options. Pick the one that fits your grip for long-lasting comfort and gameplay. With driverless design, you just plug and play.
As far as I know, everyone on the team who has tried the new screen from BenQ is using the feature with 240 Hz. It's so amazing, the transition is so great.
I think for me the most important when I play the game is that I feel that all my actions directly represented on the monitor. This is just another level on top of that, I would say.
It improves your gameplay a lot. You can react much faster on these kinds of monitors, and like once you play on 240 Hz, you can't go back.
Personalize the way you see everything, and then conquer. Exclusive Black Equalizer brightens dark scenes without overexposing bright areas. Use the S-switch to quickly access the setting and switch between save modes. Adjust the angle effortlessly for maximum comfort.
Try not to know too much, try not to notice. I try not to go, but I keep on moving on. I think I'm better off alone. Over the borderline. Something you wanted in the
And welcome back. Number 3 between Chiefs as well as NASR Esports. I don't think I've got my mic in the right position at the moment.
No, I think it's a wrong mic. Oh, okay. Do you know how many times I see that? Just a cheeky little drive-by. Oh, there's a lot of bullets flying down towards Banana, but Havoc will find the first kill. Now going to be making their way up towards Banana Iron. He can just back away for now. Moe CQ will hold that angle, and it looks as though NASR are committing towards B for now.
They are going to be taking their time a little bit here, though. Frequent going to be spotting that angle where NASR are going to be trying to proceed back. They know they've got time to work with, trying to shoulder peek and push the CT off the angle. It's good work, good recognition from NASR to realise that the CTs could be in multiple positions at this stage. Got a lot of time to work with. Nothing but the dulcet tones of this Italian countryside ringing out for now for both sides. NASR don't know how many are on the A-bomb site. Chiefs, similarly, they don't know where NASR are going to be committing from, but it is going to be potentially 2 people trying to make contact and force a rotation out to the B-bomb site. Smoke's coming across, but Havoc, they're trying to bust out. Havoc still gets the shot. 3 coming in from apartments, and Frequent needs to step up, but he can't. Now the bomb plant's going to go on A, Texter and Moe on the rotate.
Yeah, Texter now just going to be going quite aggressive to find that first pick. Can't manage to do so just yet. Still playing with death, and that will inevitably lead to his demise. Kit Kat as well, shutting down Moe CQ, and a really well-played first round from NASR there. The fake across towards B, Havoc securing 2 kills towards Banana. First of all, it was the initial peek coming in, then it was the shot towards Coffins that shuts it down, and that was where Infrequent started to rotate. And from there, it's just a slippery slope for the Chiefs. So now it will, of course, be that force buy that we see so often in the second round, but still, they will need to tread with caution here, NASR.
They're coming fast and furious, though. And we've seen force buy time and time again. They are just making sure they take top 9 under control. They're just holding for any aggression from the CT side. They might be suspecting that Chiefs will force buy again. It's been a tendency of theirs in the last few maps. And you want to be bringing everything that you can right now, Inferno. This always just seems to be the map for blockbusters. It always seems to boil down into this. And really, you just don't know which way it's going to be going in at this stage, Manic.
You can cut the tension with a knife, that's for damn sure. You honestly could not pick it at this point, the way both of these maps have gone. Either team taking the other's map pick, and confidently as well. That's the thing, we're not just talking about close matchups. They've been quite dominating in the way that they've been able to take them. So when we head to Inferno, a map which is relatively neutral for both of these teams, there is so much left to the imagination of the fan. And for now, it looks as though A will be the point of attack. As you can see, 2 players making their way towards apartments. It will have to be Moe CQ that plays as gatekeeper for the remainder of Chiefs, and he can't get anything done. Havoc playing so sharp right now, and that shuts everything down. All 4 players turn in for the save, and NASR just overwhelmed Moe CQ. Too much of an ask, I believe, for Moe there.
Chiefs just putting a little bit too many eggs in that B-site basket, and unfortunately, it just all... I mean, they don't crack just yet. They only lose 1 egg, and they just go, all right, we can still make an omelette out of it, take our pistols forward to the next round. But for NASR, they're making a meal of this so far. That was just patience coming in. They go, right, 30 seconds left. We made a lot of noise at Nana. It could be a Nana stack. We haven't seen any aggression out coming in from the A-bomb site. No aggression in apartments. I don't think this is going to be an A stack. They commit in. Only 1 there, and that's it. That's the round done and dusted. And Chiefs still have to be equaling another one. At least they got pistols to still work with to do damage to the T-side economy. They can't allow NASR to build up a bank. They can't allow 5 rifles or 5 guns to be kept forward every single time.
Yeah, eventually they will be called upon to try and put a halt to what NASR can accumulate, and that is kind of where the concern will lie for Chiefs in the first half of the last and final map of this series. They're just going to stack completely towards B. It wouldn't surprise me if they're going to go aggressive here. The flash will come over from Texter to support, maybe the peek coming in from Flix to give the information. He's just going to hold, however, from sandbags for now as they do start to make their hit, but they have no idea what they're about to walk into. Flix will find the first, baits out perfectly. All three players are about to swing, but they go one by one. At the very least, the trades are there, and you were just saying we cannot allow NASR to start to build up that economy, start to take all 5 rounds, all 5 guns into the next round, and geez, they must be listening.
And Mo is just given the opportunity as well of taking an AK into the next round. This is pretty much a round where he can't salvage, I guess, the victory from here. He is going to be committing forward, though. Pretty risky coming in from Moe. He actually is committing for it. That's a confident play and a half. The bomb is eventually going to get planted down on the A bomb site. If he wins the steal against Havoc, could be absolutely huge. But he's been spotted out. Havoc just patiently playing around it, not giving a single chance. NASR 2-on-1. They've done so much damage. They could gift it potentially an AK over to the CT side, but they're still giving so much space for Moe to be working around here. But eventually Moe realizes there's just not enough time. He's missed a window of opportunity. He's going to have to back off. Going to be befriend some chickens as well on the way back as well.
He's going to be patting them. Taking one home with him, why not? Wife and kids he's got to feed, so...
2 of?
He's going to take 2 with him. Why not? He's got wife and kids. He can't just be feeding himself, can he? Love it. But Moe, of course, taking the AK into the next round. Oh, Moe. You can't be doing that. Those chickens had families, man. That's okay. Moe will be able to buy up completely on the back of that save. With the economy that Chiefs have, they have somewhat of a healthy buy, you would say. They've got the AWP onto infrequent, which does open up a lot of avenues for Chiefs. Could see him get aggressive towards A, towards B, but for now it's the aggression towards B that NASR prefer, and they already find the first pick. It's the molly that eventually hits the killing blow onto Iron. But it doesn't make a difference now. You just see Chiefs completely separate. They have to split the 2 and 2, and this is where things can really start to snowball for NASR. If they can start that avalanche early on as well, it's going to be a tough ask for Chiefs.
And that was only in the first 20 seconds of the round as well. Getting an opening pick, it was just a standard play coming out from Breaker, but slowly and steadily, Green's really impressive so far. Another entry that's rolling in the favor of NASR, and they're just playing around with the rotation so well. Infrequent, no chance. He's going to be dropping down, and the CTs just going to be bailing out here. They have to save. It's a sinking ship in this round. And I mean, 5 alive once again from NASR. It doesn't even look hard from them at this stage. They're just rolling forward with the confidence from Nuke. Strolling in, taking the fight. You can see Kit Kat looking to go aggressive, looking to take the fight over there. But Flix, he's holding pretty close at this stage, so he might be able to grab an AK at the very least and bail out.
Does Havoc allow him to? The UMP, unfortunately, not going to be the weapon of choice that's needed there, but Flix, you will see Kit Kat does some more damage, but again, the economy that we're starting to build for NASR, maybe it's better off them saving what they can, but Moe CQ shutting down the 2 players, and Nami, surely he is not going to go aggressive with this. So I think my question right now, the thing that we can start to ask is, was that necessary for NASR to try and hunt those 2 players?
I don't think that was necessary at all at the end of the day, but I mean, you can see what they want to be doing is that they have they're so confident in this stage. They can go in, they can try to deny the CT economy and really stamp their mark on here, just going, you can't even take anything forward.
The thing that could be a big problem for, well, what they could have worked on then, NASR, is actually allowing the 2 players to still remain alive and then investing with, you know, the $900 less that they were able to accumulate, and the buys wouldn't be as strong. So if they are going to force on the back of those 2 AKs, it's definitely, it's going to look pretty abysmal. So we do head into the 5th round now, infrequent on that AWP, and this is what we need to see from him, holding the line aggressively, and will take down Nami. Backs away as well, and there's finally the opening kill that Chiefs have been looking for.
NASR just caught a little bit unaware by that aggression from the CT side, and I don't know if that's the best thing. We've been seeing so many default boiler takes coming in from European and NA teams that you need to have 2 people to make sure you take that default apartments. There's always going to be that AWP aggression up, infrequent. Out comes the progression smokes, the top brackets. He's still going to drop some of his utility of his own to make sure that the T side is kept honest, but they're still going to break through this flashbang. Green is just way too enthusiastic. Where's the counter flashbang? Moe nearly caught off timing. Still, T's going to be rolling out. Havoc. It's always such a dangerous player to be going against, but Moe around the edge of the smoke. He's holding his fire for now. The rest of the CTs are still going to be here, and Havoc not really in position to do a huge ton of damage just yet, but still tapping away. A powerful position for Pit, but Moe's still alive on the site. Eventually, it's going to be flipped. Getting the wraparound. I mean, I don't even know what went wrong there for the Chiefs at that stage in terms of losing two people. It was looking really solid on the A-side hold, but NASR just unable to get the trades out, and you can see that 4 people going down hunting 2 rounds ago means their economy is pretty shoddy for some of their players.
Yeah, and it's interesting when we get to touch on something like that and we get to talk about it, expand on it a little bit more, and then it comes to sight. We, you know, it comes from the darkness into the light. And we get to talk about the ifs and the coulds and the buts and the shoulds, but at the end of the day, it does punish NASR. And as you can see, Green's Kit Kat Breaker, I mean, that economy should be well and truly set by now. You're 4 rounds in. You've been able to save in 2 separate rounds, you've been able to save 5 full guns into the next. So for me, NASR's economy, it does not kind of reflect what they should have been able to achieve by now. But having said that, they do still have that individual firepower, and you'd hate to see Chiefs kind of underestimate it, because this is the kind of thing that NASR will be waiting for. 3 players now. This is the kind of aggression that we need to see from Chiefs, changing things up time and time again. However, it does go a little bit stale after the utility comes in. That grenade, however, that puts a halt to NASR and their aggression in middle. So for now, it is just going to be a bit of a default here from NASR. 3 mid, 1 B, 1 across towards A, and they can just rotate as it's B and mid. Very similar.
That is a beautiful nade coming out from Infrequent as well. And Chiefs, they've got their initial 9 grades down to a T to just deny any early aggression for now. But for NASR, they're still going to proceed forward to try to take this top brackets control. And if they're able to do it with about 50 seconds left on the timer, they could potentially force a wrap into the B-bomb site as well. They've got the players and the positioning to do it as well. Flashbang allows 3 to just get control. They've got control of apps. They force the CTs back. The CTs can't stack a site because they have no idea what's going on, but there's still utility on them. They've still got smoke, still got flashbangs to be playing around it. They've got utility to be making sure NASR can't push in freely. NASR committing back on this B-bomb site. 1 person lurking over. That's going to be Nami, who's low. But he doesn't have any utility to drop. He's not forcing anything just yet. And with this Flix, he can drop the smoke, stall this a little bit longer. They have to commit.
They don't have a choice. Oh, and no, the timing doesn't favor them whatsoever. Flix falls down early. Iron was looking to be the savior of the day, but he cannot make it work. Texter now coming in, and Frequent will hit the shot on Nami. Well read, and now there's an opportunity. With Nami falling down there, going for the aggressive peek onto Infrequent, there is an opportunity for Chiefs. They have to claw this one back.
But, I mean, they're just rolling straight forward to Greens, who spotted out the last 2 remaining members, and all the T's need to do is set up a functional crossfire. You've got 1 in the garden and 1 in Nana. Havoc just going to be staying, making sure the bomb's going to be tapped. And you've got Kit Kat going to wrap around from that construction area. Infrequent, they've cleared out every single other position. Still a hell of a shot onto Kit Kat, but he's just by himself right now. Havoc needs to step out. Infrequent, swinging out the wide angle. He's off the defuse. He hits the shot, but he just doesn't have the time. He misses it by barely a second. He won't be allowed to keep the AWP forward. He gets the shots. Doesn't matter. 4 kills. They still lose a round.
It just, you hate to see it. Infrequent putting in the work there with the AWP. We've been waiting for him. It took a whole map. We thought Nuke was going to be the kind of point in which he would step up, but it fell a little bit shy, and that round there, that was all Infrequents, but NASR, it was Havoc for NASR, who plays that one perfectly, plays the time down to a dime. And with that, NASR again, they go to their default. They send 3 up towards Banana. They keep that aggression. And this, of course, this just stops any sort of movement from Chiefs. They have to make sure that they've got some sort of protection, which leaves the 3 players over there. And time again, Chiefs have not been able to hold on to this. It's been very strong from NASR. The plays that they've been able to make, the calls that they've been able to pull to full fruition have been well and truly nice. But this flash coming over the top right now could devastate the hold from NASR, but it's the pre-fire from Nami. Green's holding the line, and Iron, he falls there soon after. The later aggression turns into nothing. And so too this round just dwindles away for the Chiefs.
You just look at how NASA even set up for that counter aggression, and this is really just down to, okay, why is that player on the B bomb site running around like an absolute lunatic? I think that's Iron setting up the flashbang, but come on, mate, you've got to be doing it silently at this stage because you don't want to give any indications away. Still, though, you can see how NASA, they're always set up for the potential of that play. We've seen it happen so many times with the pop flash coming forward. He just sits back behind. He just lets them come forward. Greens, he's in the angle to duck behind the wall. He doesn't get flashed. Doesn't matter if Nami doesn't get the first kill. There's still going to be an AK on the angle to make sure that there's no easy picks for the CTs. And now it's going to be another USP round, another round where NASA's able to build up a bank considering they didn't lose a single member in that round. They didn't lose anyone.
That's concerning for Chiefs. You know, yeah, they made the right call. Oh, relatively the right call. They try to get the aggression. They try to make something work, but they're just being punished right now. And this is not the kind of map in which you can let this CT side slip away. You need to be able to keep this as close, if not favoring you as much as possible. And NASR are doing such a good job. Moe, though, this could be a little bit cheeky. He might find one kill, but no, I was so excited to see the double dink for Nami. It does not happen. And KitKat on the lurk, it'll just pretty... Oh, they actually swing back towards B. That is so well read from NASR.
They're just playing absolutely with Chiefs rotation at the moment. And Flix is the only person that is... I mean, they've all committed to A. They've realized that this is just a massive bamboozle. Havoc's here with the UMP. He can just farm up so much money at the stage if he's able to connect these UMP shots eventually. A little bit scrappy there from Havoc. Normally he's a lot more tight and refined on the spray control, but that still doesn't change the outcome of this round so far, as KitKat is going to be pressuring over the other side, and they're just getting all the kills rolling in their favor at the moment, and Iron just not offered a single opportunity, as Greens is just... He is really stepping it up so far, I have to say. If it's a sub for NASA, he needs to be a main picker. He needs to be a core fragger, because this man is unstoppable in terms of impact kills.
So the knowledge that we've been given from Blair is that Greens has been a member of NASR for quite some time. So him stepping back into the roster, I don't know after how long it was that he was kind of separated, but regardless, it's still an impressive stand-in. It doesn't make a difference. And
look at this read coming in from NASA. Like, are you sure it's not an A instead? Because these guys are literally reading the book like aerospace engineers. Chiefs, they put 4 into the B bomb site because they realized, okay, we need to fight this Nana control. And NASA go, nah, that's fine, mate. We'll just go over to A instead. There's only 2 people here. They're not in the position really to go in. Greens, he's just making so much space. He's just going, oh, I want kills, I want kills, I want kills. But Iron's finally here. He's got the first kill, and now they're lining up. The CTs were able to rotate across in time, and this is finally a clean shutdown coming in from the Chiefs. They're able to mow down and pick up around 5 rifles alive as well, which is so critical.
that is some call coming in from NASA there. Chiefs, however, I don't even know how Chiefs managed to fight that. The fact that they had 4 so early across towards B. But it is that early round aggression. They get the information. They send the 3 back. They leave 1 across towards B. And before NASA know it, it's a 4-on-5 on that A site. And it's an absolute onslaught. So well played from Chiefs there. They now can start to gain a little bit of momentum. But they are going to have to run off the back of this. It's a bit of an early play up towards Banana, but they're going to be met with the same amount of aggression. Dexter reads the flash perfectly. The second as well looks away, but will he expect another? It doesn't make a difference. The spray's coming through. Green's looking for the response, but Flix, he's there to mop up the last kill. Only 2 remain for NASA, and so many bullets flying down Banana. It favors Chiefs 3-1.
Chiefs had to rely on I have to say, like a bit of a gimmicky play in terms of putting 4 in Nana the second time in a row just to try to take control. Molly and Havoc both exchanging a few glances. It's going to back away for now, but slowly and steadily, Nami is going to be progressing forward. Havoc going to be dropping that aggressive balcony smoke to try to get out to assist his teammate. But there's still going to be 2 on the site, infrequent, at close range. Texter just making sure there's no jungle lurking. You can see Havoc trying to play up above the smoke grenade. He's not going to spot out the backside player. Flashbang's coming forward as well. Nami waiting for over-aggression from the CT side, but eventually he has to try to make a play. There's the first shot. Nami gets the flick. Now Havoc coming out, and Havoc getting the double spray down. They still managed to breach the A-bomb site. NASR, how have they done it with a patience? Flicks on the rotate. He's got the belt of utility to use.
This has got to be some sort of play from Flicks. He's looking to come in dry. He's actually not going to allow Nami to know where he's coming from. Fakes the shot, but what a shot coming in from Nami. And my goodness, a 2 versus 4. NASR throw everything but the kitchen sink at Chiefs, and they literally cannot do a single thing. That was a monstrous play from both of those members on the T side.
Havoc was on 12 HP. He was hanging down so low after that progression smoke. And Chiefs, they just can't seem to land the shots, and they need to have the impact in these critical positions. And for NASR, it just once again looks like they can do no wrong. Another gimmick play coming out from the CT side. I don't know how well this is going to work. Nami, it looks like he's reading it. He's not interested in missing. Texter finally gets the backstab down, but you're just walking into the orb of Nami, who is just not going to be missing, sweeping you up in his tidal wave. And he is looking for another kill, another one dropping to the ground. And NASR up to 9 rounds, just completely controlling the T side.
Oh, Nami. Goodness me, this is the kind of impact that we saw from him in previous days of this tournament. He has been an absolute animal for NASR. And by goodness, is he not disappointing in this quarterfinal. This is the do or die map. This is the last laugh for both of these teams if they can't pull this out. And NASR, they're pulling out all the tricks in the book, my friend. They're literally throwing the book at Chiefs at this point, and unfortunately for Chiefs, they are not catching a single hint. I just feel that NASR have been able to read this incredibly well. Taking their time on rounds where they know there could be a stack. Committing in rounds they know that there's a high percentage. And they are literally paving a path for themselves to, at the very least, find this semi-final. And a very strong performance so far, but they are going to have to keep this up. We are painting quite a good picture. Still a very long road ahead for the Middle Eastern team.
Out comes this progression play onto the A-bomb side, but Chiefs, they've just come back all the way through here. Flicks dropping down straight into Green's crosshair, but Green's is just snapping away in every single direction, just cleaning things out. Texter giving a glimpse away. It is Green's, the fragging machine, and he is just strolling forward and making it look too easy. I mean, it just seems like NASR just do every little thing right, and I can't say no to that. This is just looking absolutely superb from them. I mean, as an Aussie, you can't help but have just a little bit of admiration for how this UAE-based team is just performing. You can say they haven't had many opportunities on the international stage. They're making the most of it. And Chiefs, slowly and steadily, their chances are going to be dwindling away. They need to start making this work out. Moe, he does land a shot, maybe a bit of confidence, but that's still not an acre that can be retrieved. There's still just so many people looking for the kill, and they're just going to come in for the blood.
NASR are just oozing with confidence at this point. You can see they find the positioning of Moe. They say, no, we are not even allowing you to grab one more kill. They all go individually to try and find him, hunt him out, sniff him out like a dog. And Chiefs are staring down the barrel at what will be a gracious defeat at that from NASR, who have just been on point in these last 2 maps.
I am not going to lie here. This is not a gracious defeat. This has been a complete turnaround from NASR, and if they continue at this stage, it reads a 2-1, but in reality, it has been a complete stomping.
They've been outplayed at every turn so far.
But let's not ring the death bells just yet for the Chiefs. They've got 2 rounds. Sounds absolutely terrible at the moment considering they're down 10-2. They do the hard yarns here. We're going to need to see the individuals just pull ahead 3 rounds. That's all they need right now for the Chiefs. 5 rounds as a foundation on the CT side to try to get something going. But they're going to have to require individuals peaking at their performance at the stage. NASR are just going full alpha mode. There is no stopping this unit. You can't throw gimmicks into this. You're going to have to rely on your fundamentals as the CT side. And this is something I like seeing. Rifles that contain this aggression, but look what NASR are doing. They're setting 2 up here.
And this is the point that NASR have just been constantly just finding the outplay, but this time it's not to work. Chiefs make light work of that push, and finally they manage to punish. However, at this point, it is NASR who are finding some sort of space, some room to breathe in Banana. But they're going to have to make a lot more than that. They start to progress through the smoke. It's going to be the hit dry, and it's Iron that finds the first, but it's Flicks inevitably that almost shuts it down. Nami the last to remain. We've seen him pull out some big plays so far, but this might just be too much to ask of him. A 1 versus 4. He had a full belt of utility, but that is slowly starting to dwindle. So too the chances. Chiefs now, they can start to gain a bit of momentum as they head into the second half. Anything right now is good enough.
And all they need is just 1 more round to break this T-start economy as well. So NASR realize that this is actually a critical round for them to be taking because there's the difference between making it into an insane half into just an okay half. 5 rounds compared to 10, that sounds like a good half for NASR, but the way that they have really been constructing themselves, taking the site control, getting the entries, if Chiefs get 5 here, it is Chiefs committing a crime in terms of they've gotten away at the very end. They breached bail conditions because literally they're in a jail at the stage where NASR are just hammering away. But all this good work can be undone by a few good rounds from Chiefs. And we saw that at the apartments area. We saw that nice contain at Nano. They realized that the contact play was coming in and Flick's just able to dance around. They're keeping a lot of rifles forward, keeping their economy up so they can get the utility on board alongside with just 2 kits to work with on either side.
Look, the consistent pressure that NASR have been able to show. They go fast towards Banana again to get the aggression, and that, of course, forces Chiefs back off of the angle. NASR starting to flex a small amount, but they don't want to get too overconfident at this point. If they slip up even the tiniest, you know Chiefs are going to capitalize at this, but as you can see, they look to make B their point of execution. Flicks is going to have to hold on. Iron already falls. They line up for Flicks. He finds the dink. They both line up, and he's still got more to do. But Nami, he does not allow that. Still, it is Texter who was on the fast rotate. Nami gets caught out trying to whip the AWP back into the primary, but it's not going to happen. And this is what we're starting to worry about for NASR. The momentum can start to shift in just 1 moment.
And that's just all down to Flicks. Gets that flashbang down, gets the triple spray down from that first Oranges position. Such a hard thing to do, but NASR make it a little bit easier by lining up. And now into the final round of the half. Look at the economy from NASR. It doesn't look that hot, but Pistols, this always makes me scared for Australian Counter-Strike. Pistols coming at ya. Chiefs, they've got the full buy. But Tech 9s and CZs flying in their way. This might be a change for NASR. They might try to take this apartment's control and see where they're going from there. But the double-up setup is able to get the work done. And Texter on the aggression as well. You can't be running through a Molotov at that like Infrequent. A little bit of pressure just alleviated right now at the end. A little bit of a clinic right now from Infrequent.
My goodness, Infrequent. That's the kind of momentum you want your AWPer to be gaining. This is where the tides can definitely turn for Chiefs. They've just grabbed 3 rounds straight towards the end of that first half. So many times we see it in Counter-Strike right at the end of that first half. It looks abysmal. They're down and out for the count, and all it takes is a couple of rounds, and all of a sudden, things can turn. Things can change. The colors, they don't show what were originally painted for NASR, which was possibly a 13-2 half, a 12-3 half. It's Chiefs that claw those rounds back, and kudos to them. Now, however, they have to step it up. It is going to be Texter and Infrequent. They play the water boy duties. They find themselves the utility, and this will make for an interesting pistol round.
Only 2 here at Nana though, and Green's just instantly dinked out, but he still just answers the calling. There's still going to be 1 over here at the sandbags, but the grenades come forward infrequent. You can't be tagging a teammate like that. The rotations to the CTs will be coming out. Chiefs, they just need to do the same thing that NASR are doing at this stage. They just need to calm down and assess the situation. Flashbang coming a little bit too far ahead. They're now going to back out to the A-bomb site. Going in en masse, and there's no one really from NASR posted an advantageous situation. It's going to be a long rotate around from Breaker. Nami also here on the A-bomb side.
And so they too hit. Molotov will flush the player from pit out of position. It's infrequent with the nice first opening shot. Moe CQ puts the dagger into Havoc. And it looks as though Greens is going to have to save on the pistol round and try and hold some armor for that next secondary round. They will again be able to buy into it, so it's not all bad news for NASR, but that buffer that they have, the small increase of rounds will start to fade away before they know it. If they can't get a hold of it, it will be pretty much, and again, we do like to do the shoulds and coulds. Chiefs realistically will be able to bring it to 8 and 10.
I mean, at this stage for NASR, I'd say that they don't need to force buy. As Flix has just calculated that. He knows exactly the numbers from the plants. He is inside the game. His head is designed for dad duties and fragging. And NASR are just going to eco on this one. I mean, I really don't feel like they need to just completely invest in, but they are going to be forcing up. And if this works out for them, this is a huge reset. If it doesn't work out for them, it does mean another eco. And
not very good, is it?
I mean, if you're just coming in as Greens and just dropping 1Bs like that and just strolling out, making it look too easy, why not? Why not force buy every single time? Chiefs, Infrequent's also taking a tag from somewhere. Might be from a nade from the scout earlier on in the hands of Nami. They're still going to commit it on the B bomb site. There's 3 people here. Going to smoke and look at the positioning from Kit Kat. He's just playing around the edge of the smoke for now. He's not going to commit through it.
Oh, that could have been dangerous for Chiefs there. I do like that call. They send the utility over. NASR try to double down a little bit. Kit Kat tries to get a little bit more aggressive to find some information. Doesn't get any, and now it leaves doubt into the mind of NASR. They double back Chiefs here, and this could cause some problems. They're now going to commit. The Molotovs will hit up on towards the backside of Flowers. It doesn't find the kill, and Breaker will inevitably open up the bank, but Kit Kat as well. They're absolutely causing havoc here, NASR, and this is not looking likely for Chiefs, who are just holding on by a thread. And my goodness, Kit Kat and Breaker play that perfectly, with Greens opening up the bank account to start with. Again, it's Kit Kat and Breaker that do all the work towards the end.
And that's reset. That's force buy territory for Chiefs. And if they don't complete this force buy, it's absolutely doable against the CT economy. As that pause comes in just a little bit too late. Looks like they have to persist forward. They have completely forced up into it. But that is going to be delaying their plans a little bit. NASR though, I mean, that was absolutely beautiful coming in from the pistols. Just basic crossfire setup. Greens, like you said, opens the action up. Then they just reset. They just go, all right, let's just place these smart positions, make sure we can get a one and done and just trade out efficiently. And it just works to an absolute dime. It's a beautiful thing to watch if you love pistol crossfires. But it's an ugly thing to watch if you hate a team drop against, I guess, full buy.
It's not exactly the kind of thing that we're used to seeing, unfortunately. The pistols, especially in the AU region, as you were touching on before, they're dangerous and they cause so many problems. But now, so too will Chiefs as they start to spread out in towards Banana. 2 players across towards the B to try and bolster that defense. But it looks as though Chiefs are actually going to be committing here. You can see the addition of Iron coming in from behind now. This is definitely going to be quite the hit. They're going to have to go explosively as well. Green swings wide with the AK, takes all of the attention away from Chiefs. They chase him down through the smoke. Moe CQ hot on his tail, but Kit Kat again. He's good for 2. And he's doing his job on this B-bomb site.
But it's not enough at the end of the day because Chiefs, that was actually a really sick execute. I'll go into it more later as now Moe has a lot of jobs to hold on to this destruction position. Very, very messy fight against Nami at the end of the day. And now Iron going to be assisting the job as well. Chiefs, they just bring it back forth. They're just trading rounds at this stage. You can call it scrappy, but whatever does the job for either side. And Havoc trying to sneak in. It's not going to work. Iron has spotted his head out, but still Havoc, he doesn't take a shot. He still managed to make the drive-by work around. And he knows where the last one most likely is going to be near that Nana position. 10 seconds to play around with. Can hear Flix. Flix trying to draw out the shoulder shots. He's taking only a little bit of damage. And with 8 seconds left, Havoc has to commit to it. Flix knows this, and he's just going to go straight in for the victory. Chiefs managed to win that force by completely back. Flix is going to go down to the bomb, though. It means they have to completely reinvest. And I want to quickly talk about how Chiefs do that. The flashbangs and the way that they move in that Nana entry is something that you haven't seen for quite a while. The way they do it to nullify that CT aggression, because you see Greens is doing the right thing. He's stepping out. You're so used to the T's or the T's committing that you can just shoot people coming in. But they swing close to the CT. And the flashbangs, I don't know who threw the flashbangs, but they were absolutely beautiful because Greens was just blind. His name was actually Whites at the end of the day because he just couldn't see anything. And he loses that critical construction control. The CTs, as soon as you lose construction, it's almost impossible to come back onto the site. And you absolutely saw that happen. Havoc gave it a good crack. Almost impossible against Flix, who's just been an absolute anchor so far. And so NASR is in another situation where their money has been reset, similarly to what Chiefs were as well. And Chiefs, this is the opportunity now to slowly start bringing rounds back. NASR aren't fully invested in this round. I've got a little bit of utility, a couple of pistols. But this has really started boiling into an interesting match. Both sides now stepping it up. Now we are definitely getting a quarterfinals quality match.
That is one way of putting it. Toe-to-toe, both of these teams go. They're going to go straight down towards Banana. They find 3 kills, and that is absolutely ridiculous on the pistols. Infrequent, though, can only shut 2 down. Look at the damage done to Chiefs. What is going on? NASR with the pistols are putting in the work. And Chiefs, they realistically don't even have a reply there.
What the hell was that? I mean, this is not even upgraded pistols. There wasn't a huge set of utility, but NASR still managed to make it work out. And Chiefs, they just line up a Banana and just get peeled apart. They just get split right down. Might as well add it into the wheat picks and just chomp it up because NASR, they're just eating the cereal right now and they're just enjoying it. They're cereal killers.
The puffy kind, apparently. Chiefs almost can, like marshmallows down Banana there.
I don't really feel good about their chances. Oh, Manic, I don't feel so good all of a sudden. They have to be pre-firing this boost. You can see Havoc just playing around it. They're just ducking underneath. But now Havoc, he's dropped the bomb carrier. And now this is all down to Moe. He doesn't even have armor. He only has the MAC-10. What's going on here? And Havoc, he's drawn out a shot. There's a CT wrapping around. Moe knows this, though. He's trying to clear out Nana, trying to make sure he's not being collapsed upon. But the CTs, you can see they're just so patient right now. And Havoc, he cleans up with a 3K. And oh my goodness, there was barely anything invested in NASR. And they still managed to reap the biggest dividends. They've just won the lottery. And Chiefs, they're reset again. I feel like a broken record.
Yeah, that could possibly be it. You talk about in hindsight, the 2020 vision. NASR have it all right now. T side, CT side, it does not matter. They're pulling out all the tricks in the book. And so too, it's going to be Chiefs that are set, like you said, on the reset. They go for the force buy, and the utility that's coming down early from NASR are causing all sorts. Infrequent's burned in his own molly. Oh, nothing can go right for Chiefs right now. And Greens, everything's going right for him. He will ensure possibly the last kill. Iron at least grabs something for his troubles, but it looks as though that's all that's going to be written in this round. And Chiefs are just, this is staring down the barrel at that semi-final. Just going over the top of the sunset now. It seems all but impossible with the way NASR have been able to read this.
I mean, it's just, everything's completely slowed down at the moment from Chiefs. One player is still in spawn, so I don't know what's going on. Iron's just sitting there and not really moving at this stage. It is going to be a complete eco coming out from the T side. They have to try to get some AKs up to try to, just try to combat anything against NASR at this stage. That was just a complete eco win into a complete demolition. A slaughter at Nana once again. And NASR, round by round, they did a lot of good work over there on their own T side. Chiefs have fought back quite valiantly, but is it going to be enough at the end of the day?
The way NASR have been able to make this work, we could not paint a better picture ourselves. Chiefs have attempted to make it as close as possible, but Green's letting that Molotov down. That shuts whatever they were trying to make work. And 4 players on this A site. The read coming in from Nami to go aggressive. This has been the first time NASR have even been allowed to do it, and they just go for it. Nami goes all in. He did have the shoulder from Greens to support him in doing so, but now they have to hit on towards this A site. They don't really have the time to continue to wrap, and especially with Nami, that is their safety net. Pushing on in, they managed to catch Greens out, but still Greens finds a kill. They're going to continue to push here. KitKat, however, he holds the one down, and Moe CQ on the AK, I don't know whether he's going to be able to make anything work. He finds 1 kill, but is that enough to progress towards the... Oh my word, Havoc gets clothesline coming around the corner, and you start to believe that Moe could make this work. It's going to be the shot again onto Breaker, and it's another 1 tap. It's now into the 1v1. The bomb is going to go down in time, and Nami is going to have to close this out, but it's Moe who finds the angle, and they're just trading taps for taps. What is going on?
Oh my goodness. 1 tap after 1 tap. Oh, he's had a shock over series, but he just winds back the clock, making it look like 2015 and too easy. And then Nami, he just one-ups him. He just comes in and goes, oh, you're doing that with the AK? Watch this. This is a P250. That was a lot of damage coming in from the Chiefs. That was almost a 1 round coming in from Glocks, and just almost so close from the captain of Chiefs. You can say captain of IGL, really, you can say that Moe is the heart and soul sometimes of a lot of the teams that he's in, but it's just not enough. Now the buy round comes forward, and Infrequent finally going to be shutting down Nami. And this is the best situation that Chiefs has been in quite a while. A 5-4, time to work with, lots of early damage down from the utility. They can slowly start bringing things back. That might have been the awakening coming in from Moe. Telling the boys, this is doable. Watch these 1 taps.
Look at me flex, boy. Well, they're definitely going to have to roll off the back of that, Chiefs. If ever there's a time for them to use the momentum that they've just gained, this is it. Breaker misses the shot. Flicks is now alerted to what was going on, which was a bit of cheeky later round aggression from NASR. Breaker looking for some information. He gets it as well. However, he does pay for it. Down to 14 HP, 3 players on that A site. They've only got 1 watching from the corner. KitKat now, he's going to be called upon once again. He's made it work time and time, but he's going to have to do a lot more here. Holding down single-handedly. He is holding off 4 players right now from pushing into this B side. He might have just held enough time for Breaker to come in for support, but still there's 1 across towards A. Havoc, if he can shut down 1, it's Texter that falls, and look at that! It's KitKat that's done enough across towards B!
Now, I don't know how this has gone terribly wrong, but there's still a chance for Chiefs to salvage a situation at the stage 3-on-2. Some of the CTs are still low and infrequent. Going to be posting up Nana very early on. Could shut down this early aggression, and there it is. Greens, he was the highest HP member. He would have been the hardest impact coming in from the CT side, but now both of them lining in from CT. Flashbangs and smokes going to come in. Flicks turns well. And you can see the CT so low, Infrequent covering off the coffins and making sure Flicks can be focusing on 1 angle. Havoc, he needs to hit a hell of a shot at the stage as Breaker's also coming in with the AWP, making quite a bit of noise, but Breaker, he draws the first shot, can't land it onto Infrequent, and Flicks just making sure he holds his fire, and Flicks, he'll be able to clean it up. That was scrappy from Chiefs. They'll still salvage it. They'll make something happen. And NASR, they'll have cash to some of their players, but not the full amount to get the buy that they need.
Really shaky coming out from that kind of rotate on towards B there. KitKat holds 4 players from pushing Banana there by himself. That should not be allowed to happen. Regardless, Chiefs do salvage what was an unstable round, to say the very least, and still give themselves that buffer. They cannot allow NASR 1 more round, otherwise we have to force it to overtime. Chiefs right now, they need 8 rounds in a row Chiefs want to bring this back. We're going to see the full regulation. But it is possible. If Moe CQ has stood up, has he done enough?
I mean, here's the whole thing, right? Is that NASR have won the previous 2 pistol rounds. Just putting it out there. Doesn't make me feel good about this round, but, I mean, Chiefs, surely they've learned the lesson of running into pistols. They're going to take their time a little bit more and use the Molotovs wisely to make sure they don't run into a complete slaughter.
So you would hope at the very least. A very slow round. And of course, this is nice to see from Chiefs. Just putting out the feelers all across the map. Seeing if they can flush one member from NASR out. Find a free kill. Open up a side a little bit more. But with 4 players stacked over towards A, Chiefs are going off no information whatsoever. They're slowly starting to push apartments now. Is this enough information to stack on towards A for Chiefs? It doesn't really matter. They just seem to be second-guessing themselves a little bit right now.
Oh no, there's been so much damage done already onto Techstar. But this progression play, no, it's the 5-7 once again. They should certainly know that there is going to be a stack over here at the A bomb site. And I mean, Breaker's got the scout. He's going to be trading shots, falling away, doing heavy amounts of tagging. He's still coming back in for more action. No, Breaker, stop it! You cannot single-handedly stop down this action. Finally, Infrequent, he's been the man that's doing a lot of damage. He's going to make sure that Nana's angle is covered again. And he's been doing it time and time, making sure that a perilous situation becomes stabilized. And Chiefs, it was looking dirty for them once again, but the brawling happens in their favor for the first time in a very long time. And Havoc retrieved himself an AK-47. He's found the first headshot, now progressing forward, but there's still going to be Iron at New Box, who's going to be dancing around trying to find his angle opportunity, and he's able to exploit that angle quite well.
This is it, baby. Can Chiefs do it? Can they slowly start the comeback? However, NASR are still doing damage on rounds where it should not be happening. I was saying that the push towards top mid, they were getting no information. They were punished for sticking around too long. However, they managed to trade out correctly. Regardless of the pistols, regardless of the firepower, they make it work. Nami back on that AWP. And we know what he has done so far. Can he shut down the Chiefs? Or will they continue to bounce? Will they continue to show the resilience that we've seen in the previous 3 rounds? It all started on the back of Moe. He found himself in a favorable position from a 1v3. But still so much work, so much time left for Chiefs to make a miracle happen at this point, it almost seems, with the way NASR have been able to perform on Inferno.
NASR just taking, oh my goodness, once again it's Nami getting the first pick, but boy, he's definitely picking it up on the rifle, getting some kills that he needs to trade it back forth in the favor of his team. It's going to be him tagged down quite low. A lot of map control being lost by NASR as well. Chiefs going to be slowly retaking this Nana area, ready to explode in, and Greens, he does not have any utility to work with, only the FAMAS for firepower. Not an impossible situation as he sees the utility coming over, but he definitely needs to start calling out for a few rotations.
Oh, rotations. Speaking of them, Chiefs that start to make their way towards the A site. They're being taken down one by one. The herd is now being thinned. Flicks and Infrequent, they have to try and make this work. Infrequent coming up from Hay Barrels. He's got 2 to find, and the fast flank is on from Kit Kat. Nami is playing the hero, and 2 unbelievable shots shut down the round and send NASR to match point.
Does this man miss a flick? He's just so lightning quick, and I mean, what do you even do there as the Chiefs? Time is ticking away. Moe tries selling a play, but it doesn't work out. And once again, NASR, they're on not only this map point, they're on the series point. And they are a single round away from making it into the semifinals for Extremesland, CSGO Asia 2018. And what an achievement that will be for them, putting themselves in the top 4 firmly. living to fight for tomorrow, maybe even making their way into the grand finals. Well, we've already seen 2 teams make their way into the semi-finals. That's Flash as well as MVP from earlier on today. Now NASR joining a very prestigious lineup of teams. We've still got one more quarterfinal after this as well to determine who that 4th team is. But things are definitely shaping up. Chiefs, they have to force into this. Only a single AK, all CZs. You can call them semi-automatic rifles, I guess.
The pocket AKs, this is their time to shine. This is Chiefs' moment. Can they claw this back? Is it possible for Chiefs to make the triumphant comeback of this second half? It was looking all but abysmal in that first. They started to gain a little bit of traction. And every time you thought, this is it, Chiefs are starting to amount these rounds into something, NASR just said no. Time and time again, they have been putting in the work. Is it too little, too late for Chiefs? They do look to pinch on towards the A-bomb site right now. 2 going to be pouring out a diggity, and they're putting all of their eggs into the basket right now, starting to make their way towards top middle, gaining the control. They're actually going to look possibly for a bit of a waterfall play.
Chimney Flash going to be coming forward as well. These flashes have to be absolutely effective. This is their only chance, and they're going to be relying on this flashbang from Infrequent. There it is. Here we go, Manic.
This has to be a strong hold. It's going to be Kit Kat that finds the first, but Iron, he manages to find one before being traded out. It's now Flix and Moe CQ. They have to step up. There's still one more player in the pit. Havoc, he's trying to hold on for dear life, but is it enough? No! Flix can't do anything. Moe CQ now being called upon, can't make it work. And NASR are going to be your 3rd semi-finalists.
And that is going to be the Chiefs eliminated. That is our 3rd quarterfinal done. But we will have one more after this. It's going to be Boot Dreamscape. Going to try and close out the 4th spot, or are we going to see an upset?